Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is SKTV coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. Again, my name is Sekou Kene. Today, I'm here with my colleague. I believe the others will be joining us later. I'm here with Steve Boley, aka Moses Moses. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for joining us again today. This is SKTV as always. We want to encourage each and every one of you to share the show and be a part of this very important conversation. And when it is SKTV, it means nothing is off limit, nothing is off the table. So everything is on the table. The only thing we do is to remain within the confines of this platform, which is discussing issues and nothing but the issues. And I know when it comes to politics, our people nowadays everybody have become somehow political junkies. Everyone want to be a part and take part of it. But today's discussion is very, very important. Who is the leading opposition candidate in Liberia? In fact, who are the opposition? When it comes to the opposition, who is the leading candidate? Who carry the hope and aspiration of the Liberian people? Who is really leading? And who are the candidate? And who are opposition with but then opposition within the opposition? So it's very, very important that you follow the conversation today because this particular conversation will cover pretty much everything within the Liberian politics today. Everything in the Liberian politics. It means Steve and I will have a conversation. Pretty much, Steve's the one that I know how to ask all the good questions.
You'll be my guest today. That's what you want to say?
I believe Steve said that I'm the one going to be a guest and he will be
Yes.
the moderator, which I believe it's not a bad idea. Because for me, I'm not bankrupt with words. I'm not bankrupt with idea when it comes to politics. Trust me, I know exactly what's going on. We have been around. We have had our own experience when it comes to Liberia. So, I want to encourage each and every one of you to go ahead and share the show. Steve, Mr. Moderator, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Connor, for kickstarting the show. I was,
I know you were struggling with the internet thing somewhere.
yeah, I was trying to.
Frozen.
Something happened. Something happened to the connection. Some kind of wire. I don't know who disconnected or whatever it is. So I had to, from outside. It happened from outside. So I had to go outside. I think
I
when you
saw you
saw me,
answer.
right. So I had to go outside to, plug it out. So I got me in a few seconds. But thank you, Mr. Connor, for kickstarting this. Today, you and Tel will be my guest.
Is that coming?
Yes, I haven't gotten signal from her yet, but definitely she has the information and everything else that is needed to be on.
Okay.
She did tell me about her possible availability today, so yes, we did talk about it briefly last night. But thanks to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, following us from all around the world. Um, Today is another good day. We're about to get into the conversation here very soon. Today is a good day because we have a lot going on in the country and around the world as well. As you are all aware, the bicentennial is approaching in Liberia. We want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. But today we're solely, maybe we might just switch just a bitty bit to the government, but we're solely focused on the opposition, within the opposition, to determine some things, establish some facts, and lay some context here for this conversation. So that being said, we want to welcome you. Share the show. Please start sharing the show. We haven't played the music yet to share, but please start sharing the show, inviting other people. Let's have this conversation. We want to reference the Liberian people as the most important people on earth. Our viewers, followers, listeners from all around the world. Mr. Kanye, I've been hearing too that we have thousands and thousands and thousands of followers now from all around the world. We are on two major platforms. We don't have Atum and Mantuno yet, but at least we're on Facebook and YouTube.
and also on Truth FM.
and
So,
on 2FM.
yeah, so there's a communication problem right now, but they are facing it. Hopefully, they will be getting back to us shortly, and then they will be connected on Truth FM.
Yes, so we are working on other platforms very soon to be announced to you. But at least we're here. You can follow up on YouTube. To the library women, as always, you already know you are the most beautiful women on earth. We want to quickly use this time maybe to recognize one or two people before we go to the musical break, because once we come from there, we're going straight into the conversation. So if you write, we'll be able to see your name and recognize you. Today is Sunday, the start of a new week. Today is the 13th of February, Mr. Kane. The 13th of February. So that's for many of the lovers around the world. Today is Valentine weekend. Sorry, I don't know. I'm mistaking them. I click on that thing. Today is Valentine weekend. Lovers around the world. Take care of yourself.
But then you should play that lovely music then.
Well, what the hell was all playing that?
I trust you. I don't doubt you.
Don't bring noise in you.
But you are a lover boy now too.
Well, Mr. Kane. I don't want to interview you.
My friend, one of my friends who always used to say, we want to tell you, say, don't be afraid. They say, don't be at fear. So don't be at fear, my friend. So you're a lover boy too. So let's play the music. It's, the girls, especially the Liberian women, they love it when you say Liberian women as they are the best, as the most, the most beautiful women in the world. So they love that.
But that's true.
I don't know why they're going to be sending you in this Valentine.
But that's true, though. That's
even
true.
Even though I believe it, but I'm not just sure what they're going to do for you this Valentine.
Well, we just got to appreciate them, So let's recognize
one. Maybe we should just ask, our wife then to say, let's just be single for one day and see what happens.
Well, Mr. Kane, let SKTV can ask for Valentine.
You want to be single for one day?
SKTV can ask for Valentine gifts.
Man, I'm asking my question. You want to be single for one day just for Valentine's Day?
I plead the fifth on any question on my personal life.
Okay. Yeah, I'll ask. But I don't even know what I would do if my wife say, what, yeah, I agree, be single for one day. But I don't even know what I would do. I'm confused. I know some way they will put me in jail too late.
Yeah, but we stay planning that SKTV hangout in Vegas so that we can invite Vitor, I see Vitor Bazakoli here, Vitor and all the other high men we can invite them too. We can even invite some Sidishan, What do you think?
What about Tiako?
No. Remember, no woman coming.
Oh, so you say you can't carry sand on the beach?
No, that don't.
Okay.
So
you're going to be distraction, right? So guys. Okay, no problem.
Tiako here talking about ain't see y'all?
Ain't see when I'm putting the shit there, you can't handle.
Ain't see? What tell?
but you know what?
And guess what? All that thing she doing, she can be getting ready. Why she ready? She can multitask.
I hope she will come ready today, just as she was yesterday. She couldn't even sit down. She was so fired up to the extent where she was just standing up. She couldn't sit down.
Some conversations will have to be held behind closed door because guess what happened?
What happened?
After the show yesterday, that why you want to get on here before I get in trouble.
Oh, what happened?
She got herself in situation she couldn't handle. But we'll discuss a little. Yes.
So she drew a lot of attention to herself.
I said the woman fought down inside after yesterday. Fought down inside big time.
What happened? She didn't invite her?
And I thought I want, yeah.
Joseph you want her to be a spokesperson or what?
I will leave that one.
Maybe you only going to appoint her or what?
Confidential information.
It's not confidential anyway, folks. It's going to be very important that we have this conversation. It's important. We want to encourage each and every one of you to share the show if you haven't done so. We know people are sharing. We know people are coming. But we want this to be shared as much as you can So at the end of the day, we can have thousands and hundreds of thousands of people following this platform today. So, Steve.
Yes. So let's recognize one or two people, Mr. Kenneth, and get straight into the show. Let's recognize one or two people. Charles Russell, Collie, the other name is it? That's why I say that Victor in simple English. All that baby mean that Victor. That's what I mean. Mohamed Keita, welcome to the show.
You gotta see where Prince William name. He got long name, but you're calling Prince William.
Yeah. Stephen Political Harris, welcome to the show. Musu Trump, welcome to the show. Shak Fire, welcome to the show. Abdullah, welcome to the show. Lucini, welcome to the show. Tene, welcome to the show. Ruth Rabak Wimba, one of our strong supporter and follower and viewer from day one. She's been around. Ruth, thank you for your support. Welcome to the show. Mohamed Keita, welcome to the show. Tavinako, welcome to the show. We're still waiting for you to finish so you can come on. And Henry, welcome to the show. Quickly, we want to get into our music here so we can share the show.
We haven't done that yet. Okay.
No, so let's let's get started here. We own no copyright to the songs I'll be playing. Let's move on quick.
First time I saw your face, I knew I was in love. Baby, your smile takes my breath away. And they can say what I want, girl, I don't mind. As long as you are by my side. Baby, your smile of paradise. Baby, girl, come be my lifeline. How many times do you want me to say I love you? Cause then I tell the world I do. Even you want me, girl, I do. Baby, girl, come be my lifeline. Inikuma. Yeka ampa ilikuwa. Anyway, you will come on. How many times do you want me to say I love you? Cause when I tell the world I do. Even you want me, girl, I do. Baby, girl, come be my love for life. How many times do you want me to say I love you? Cause when I tell the world I do. Even you want me, girl, I do. Baby, girl, come be my love for life. I need no painkiller cause you took my pain away. You don't need umbrella, I will take the rain away. Inikuma. Yeka ampa ilikuwa. Anyway, you will come on. How many times do you want me to say I love you? Cause when I tell the world I do. Even you want me, girl, I do. Baby, girl, come be my love for life. How many times do you want me to say I love you? Cause when I tell the world I do. Even you want me, girl, I do. Baby, girl, come be my love for life.
Thank you for sticking in, staying with us. We are back. If you're just joining us, if you haven't shared the show, please go ahead and share the show. We are here on SKTV today, where I should be expecting two guests, Mr. Kane, Mr. Sekou Kane, and Tavina Ko. Both of them should be here, but Mr. Sekou Kane is here, as always. At some point, Tavina Ko is expected to join us. So we'll get directly and strictly into the conversation. Mr. Kane.
I haven't finished sharing the show here with all my 1 million group that in.
Okay, why you
pretty much, I mean, a lot of groups, that's why when I come on the show, it takes time for me to finish sharing on the show because
yes, while you are doing that, I'd like to start laying the basis for
please do that.
I'd like to start laying the basis for one or two conversations here. Today we are going to be focusing and zooming on the opposition, not necessarily the government. As many of you are already aware, the noise, it shook up the problems within the CPP. Some might claim or might say it was started off by the government, the CDC-led government, which is not strange to strategy, but yet it was amplified by members in the CPP. And we're going to discuss some of these people today. They might be your favorite people. They might be your friends. Some of them, you might have some kind of connections or some kind of ties to them, whether they're from an emotional, romantic, or family standpoint. Well, we are going to discuss exactly some of their roles today, whether in their silence or in their open or vocal positions that they've taken. We're going to talk about it today. We're going to leave no stone unturned. We're going to also ensure that we connect the dots so that some of these things can make sense to you as to where we are headed, where we are going, and so forth. But in order to establish some of these things, I want us to take us back really quick to some things. Peace be to her ashes. Mona Pen on Young Blood. If you will recall, the CDC had not even been seated, had not even taken part. It's just won the election, no inauguration, nothing. They told us, and they told the Liberian people and the world at large that 12 to 24 years was loading. They had 12 or 24 years. Now, I know it might not mean anything to most of you. But behind closed doors, it means a lot. It means a lot. It means they've told you exactly how long they're going to be in power for. So that means they have plans in place. They have some kind of guarantee to have the audacity to even say that. They didn't even know how they were going to govern yet, what they were going to do. The public did not even know what they were going to do. But they told you that they had 12 to 14 years, to 24 years. They did. As of most recent, we don't hear the 24 years loading part of it, but we do hear the consistent sticking with President George. We has 2 terms. Fast forward, the United Party, which came second, had the opportunity to be in charge of whether one or both houses. Guess what they did? They negotiated with the CDC-led government that you don't know about for Buffer Shima today to become the speaker, for Abachie to become the Senate Pro Tem. That's how you see Buffer Chimas and Abachie. The entire house is controlled by the CDC-led government. Now, see how some things are falling into place. The first place they proceeded to make sure they have control over was both houses. And guess who agreed to it? Guess who concurred? Guess who agreed? The Unity Party. They agree. Joseph Yuma Bwaga knows about it. He knows. But that we ain't ready to focus on that yet. Let's move fast forward. Fast forward, they said now that we have control over the houses, over both houses, which will make it easier for us to pass bills, steal, corrupt, and do other things. We're all being held accountable. The next thing we want to do, we have to go to the judicial branch of government. So guess what they did? They went and made sure they removed Kabina Jane. So you see how these crooks and criminals worked their way methodically while people were thinking that they were coming for change. You see how they started to establish themselves into the system and started to plan themselves. Somebody must say that's politics. No, that is not politics. That is not politics. That's why we are here today. It was not politics when Doe decided that he would go after people. It was not politics. It was not politics when Prince Johnson decided that he would go after people. It was not politics. It was people's life. So that's a huge difference. That is a huge difference. It is not politics when you unconstitutionally remove people or accuse them of a crime. That's not politics. That is not politics. You think that's politics? You think it's a joke? That is not politics. Okay, so let's move a little fast forward. Got rid of Kabina Jane.
All right, yeah. So Steve, I'm done. I'm trying to
Okay,
with
great.
the guys. With the guys in Liberia, I'm still having some issue. Hopefully they will call me back. We can get it going right here. But in the meantime, we have a lot of people here already watching and ready to be a part of this conversation. So yes, indeed, we are here and ready to go.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Thanks for being ready so that we can go. As you heard, we're laying out some of the bases that brought us to where we are today. It's step by step that we follow to be able to get here today. Here is my question, Mr. Kane. Based on what you heard.
I just trying to put myself in a position as a guest so you can be in your position. Go ahead.
So based on what we've established here, which is a public knowledge, it's not a hidden secret. Based on what we established here, and as of most recent, when we saw Benin Ure distributing things in the COVID period, where he was chairman of the CPP, and he asserted that President George Weah would do similar things in other places as well, more likely so, running campaign, and we raised our red flag on here. We pointed out on the same show. How do you think the CDC infiltrated the CPP or the opposition?
First of all, I want to say thank you again to you and to everybody making SKTV for what it is. And, like one of our viewers said yesterday, when we started this platform, we were very few. And nowadays, we are growing on a daily basis, and people are gravitating heavily towards SKTV. That is because of the level of time and energy we have infused in this particular platform. And there are viewers and followers on this platform that have been here forever. Trust me, from the get-go. And they continue to be an integral part of this platform. So it's very, very important to acknowledge that. So I want to say thank you to everybody for being part of the SKTV family. Not just us, the host and co-hosts, but talking about the viewership, the followers, people that we call silent majority. And I want to say thank you to all of you for following. Most of you will record some of the things we have said in the past. At least if you would notice anything about SKTV, we have been very consistent in our advocacy for justice, for peace, for the rule of law in Liberia. And for the most part, most of the corrupt attitude are being perpetrated or perpetuated by the same actors. They only change position, but they continue to exploit the country in the same ways and fashion that they started. But they will only try to change position. So I want to say this. Stevie asked me how did the government of Liberia infiltrated the opposition. For the most part, let's first of all establish opposition. There are people within the opposition, but they are not opposition. There are people within the opposition that were planted in the opposition by the government of Liberia. So thereby creating an opposition within the opposition. But don't get me wrong, there are other people within the opposition who are very genuine in their quest to change for the better in the country. But there are some people who are in it for their own benefit, not the benefit of the Liberian people. There are some in it too. They are not in it for any change. Their job is to be there to make sure they disrupt, distract, and destroy the opposition so that the government can see some level of continuity, so the government can remain. So when you wish the opposition, we have a lot of opposition. Opposition is not limited to the CPP. There are other opposition that may not have the attention of the Liberian people like the others, but yes, indeed, there are opposition. There are some opposition that may not have money. Some may have money, but they don't have that political will in the country. But they too, they are opposition. So we have different kinds of opposition. There are some opposition that are loved by the people, but they are not financially equipped to take on, the politics in Liberia. So in short, Steve, if we narrow the conversation to that of the CPP, then I will tell you the government of Liberia successfully disorganized the CPP, discombobulated the CPP. In a sense, in Liberia, what you call, when you say discombobulated in Liberia, we call it really truly. Now, CPP has successfully put the Liberian government, the opposition in Liberia, CPP, the CDC government put the CPP in that position, creating serious problem between them, thereby destroying the public confidence in them. But these people, they can't even understand themselves. They're not even united. They can't even manage a coalition or collaboration. How can they manage a complex situation as Liberian situation? So they successfully destroy the opposition. I mean, the CPP, in a sense, as an institution. But what they haven't done, and I believe they will not be able to do, is to erase the minds of the Liberian people on the fact that this government and the president have shown a high level of incompetence, inaptitude, and gross disregard for the rule of law, respect for human rights, so forth and so on. So they are not successful in erasing those things in the minds of the people. Yes, of course. The reason the way they infiltrated the opposition is to plant an intruder, somebody in the middle of the opposition, pretending to be opposition, but not opposition actually, working for them. That was for the CPP. That was Benin Ayure and everybody that follows Benin Ayure. They came into the CPP. First of all, thinking that they can come, knowing that just Boakai ran against President Weah before, and Boakai was defeated. Boakai won one county. So coming there, and you know what? We're going to make sure we create problem within the CPP, making it to look like Boakai is the only person, even though we know the CPP defeated Boakai twice, both in general and then in one-on-one in the second round. But making people to think that Boakai can still win. Even though they know they can beat Boakai, but they will come make it look like, okay, Boakai is the person, is a mean person. So creating that sense. So to make it look like, okay, everybody coming into the CPP, they are coming purposely to make Boakai president. But yet, that's why when Benin Ayure saw the potential of CPP being a vibrant institution that could put this government, that could put hurt to this government, guess what he did? That time he was the chairman. Benin Ayure came out and said, the way this thing looking, I think Ambassador Joseph Nima Boakai should be the standard bearer for CPP because he's the older person, because he think he's the most educated person. I think he's the most experienced person.
Did you say educated?
Yeah, he said that. He said he think he's the most educated person. He think he's the older person. He said he think he's the most experienced person. So just to create confusion within the CPP, because they saw that CPP was promising, and Liberian people in general were gravitating towards the CPP. You understand? So that their way it started the confusion, to confuse the Liberian, to create problem, to create commotion, animosity within the CPP. But then, with people working who are thinking that really, let's do this thing, it will mean well for Liberia, and then they saw the support of the Liberian people. Guess what happened? The very day CPP came out with a document to say, now we have organized ourselves. We have formed a collaboration. And this idea was vitally embraced by the Liberian people. The very same day it happens. Guess what happened? Another distraction. Costa Kimo, the whole CPP, because they're scared now, they are in there to destroy the CPP. But they will make it look like, they are there for the Liberian government. But they will make it look like they are there for the CPP, but they will make sure CPP will not progress. So immediately the very day CPP document was signed, they say now they have a working document. Now CPP is no longer a dream, now it's a reality. Guess what they did? He said, you know what? The whole CPP thing, I agree with it, but COP must sign a social contract. It was distraction. It was to create another confusion because Benin Ayure failed to destroy the CPP from the beginning. Now CPP now has given birth to some sort of institution, and now people are gravitating and people are believing that this could be a potential replacement of the failed government. So now the guys say, you know what? In order to create some distraction or problem to make sure the CPP will fail, you know what? CPP, we must sign a social contract. If not, we will not support the CPP. That's where it started from. To tell you that they were not in it for the CPP to survive. They were just in it to make sure that they create destruction. But they will always pretend, making it look like they are the one fighting for the Liberian people so that people can believe in them. But the mission is to sure that they destroy the CPP. CPP should not survive because they're working for the government. We came out, we objected that. We said, no. I said, you can't do this. I said, we say, if you really, really love Liberia, if you really, really want to, if you believe that we, our government, is not doing what it's supposed to be doing, you should embrace this idea of the CPP. In fact, you should not be a distraction. You should create an avenue wherein people can work together to change the government, the bad government. But no, guess what happened? When they saw that, CPP is not going to be distracted by that. They said they must have a seat on the table. Even though they were not part of the collaboration, COP is not part of the collaboration, but because he is there, planted by Benina Yuri, to make sure they distract and destroy it. The CPP, every little thing that will come, they will bring commotion, they'll create problems. Then guess what happened? It came to a point when they found out that Yomli Kanga Lawrence was somehow for real and was also looking at Kumi's or making sure that, they open the room, they open the avenue for everybody to have their will, to exercise their franchise. Guess what? They went against Yambly. Behind the scene. Disrespected her, insulted her. And even removed her from some chat room that she was on. Because they saw that Yambly trying to, open up for a true democracy. Yambly trying to show some level of leadership that will make the CPP stronger. So they went against her. Then Kumis took over. In that vein, when Kumis took over, guess what happened? Attack upon attack was against Kumis. All these were done just because they want to destroy or distract the CPP. Every day, every single day, there will be an attack on Alexander Kumis, who is the chairperson of the CPP at that time. But many people thought it just in-house politics. The people are just fighting for the Senate bureauship of the CPP. But the thing here is all about, who to hell. No, it was not. It was all about making sure that the CPP will not survive. So they will get at anybody who can make CPP a possibility. So guess what happened? Kumis did everything that he's supposed to should have done. And Kumis led the CPP to 2020 senatorial election. Imagine everything that happened. Let's bring Teko in. Teko is here. Hey, Teko, what's up?
What's up, guys? What's up, SKTV?
Happy Valentine's to you.
Happy Sunday.
All
okay,
right.
Go ahead. I don't want to distract you.
Okay, that's good. So, knowing that Kumis was doing good, all the attack went against Kumis, but that still did not distract him. This guy, in fact, was going from county to county, visiting pretty much majority of the country during his tenure as the standard bureau, the chairman of the CPP. They were so angry about that. That's why they couldn't wait for Nyomli to come in. As soon as Nyomli came in, guess what happened? I want to be looking at your fanfare face then while I'm talking. But it's very important. So I want to make sure I'm talking to somebody. So here is the thing, Steve. After that, when Yomli took over as the chairperson of the CPP, and they say, thank God. Now we can use Yomli to destroy the CPP. Everything that Yomli was doing, pretty much, came from Benina Ure and Costa. Yomli, I'm not saying Yomli, she's not independent minded. But sometimes when you are in the middle of some people, especially in the middle of bullies, trust me, you do some things and realize later on that I could have done it better. That's what happened to Yomli. Komis left. After Komis left, point to one thing that Yomli accomplished as the chairperson of the CPP. Nothing. Distraction upon distraction, creating commotion, creating mixed feelings, so that the CPP can survive. To the extent where they say, in fact, the whole CPP thing, let's dissolve it. Think about this. When there's no fighting, when there was no issue of document, signature, this one and that one. So the CPP look the way looking. Come, you don't want to be second best person to Wakai. Let's just destroy the CPP. Let everybody go on their own. See? But when all those things failed, let me say, you know what? Even though we agree not to leave the CPP, Steve, this is the key part I want you to pay attention to. If this was all about CPP, and if it's not about protecting the Jowia government, or it's not about making sure they work for Jowia government and accomplish their aim, if this was not about that, if this was merely about CPP, trust me, Steve, when they decided to say, you know what, we're going to leave the CPP, let's say ALP say, you know, we're leaving CPP. What's his name? Buaka say, you know what, we're leaving CPP. If everybody could just left the CPP, just left the CPP. If it was about standard ownership, they would have just left, found their own something, and move on. Or maybe, you know what, individually go, you know, the party can go and do whatever they want to do. But guess what? Not only that we will leave the CPP, but we will leave the CPP thinking that that will be the end, that will give the government leverage, but then they saw the surgeon Komis. Komis now being accepted by a lot of people. Komis now being traveling from one country to another. Now Komis now getting some, you know, from talk show to talk show. Every talk show he goes to, people be like, wow, I didn't know about that. I didn't know that about him. Now he started growing. And it is inarguable that ANC became the fastest growing political party in Liberia since we was elected. That's just a fact. Everybody agree with that. So they say, you know what? Even though we destroy the CPP, but that will not help the government if we don't destroy this guy. If we just destroy the CPP, that's not going to be enough. But in order to save the Liberian government, for this Jowia government to get a second term, we've got to make sure we destroy this guy too. Even though they will successfully destroy the CPP, but we have to destroy Komis in order. Steve, think about it. If this was about standard bearership, after now you destroy the CPP, you say now I'm part of CPP anymore. Why worry about CPP? Why worry about Komis? Well, no, the man told you clearly, we will not allow him to run. We will protest. We will not allow him to run. So that means it's no longer about being the standard bearer of the CPP. Otherwise, if you already left the CPP and you want Buakai to be your own standard bearer, all you need to do regroup yourself, make Baka a standard bearer. Let Komi go wherever you want to go, whether by himself or with Peter or Paul or anybody who wants to go away. That's up to him. But to say, even though we say we live in the CPP, but we got to bring this man down, we got to destroy this man, because they are not doing it for themselves. They are doing it to clear the way for George Weah. They are doing it to clear the way for George Weah. And, a few months ago, when I said Baka was a victim, that Yombly was a victim in this whole CPP fight. When I said that, some people say, oh, no, don't say that. Baka doing it. Baka is a criminal. Let me tell you something. Sometimes you can find yourself in something, you don't know how to get yourself out. And then you're stuck in there. You can want to get out now when you're rescued. Who's going to rescue Baka? Baka does not open up. Baka does not talk. Baka does not speak. They're not even allowing him to talk. They are not even allowing him to have conversation with other people because they are using him. They are using him unknowingly to himself to pave the way for CDC 2023. So if you ask me what happened or how they infiltrated the opposition, they successfully planted Benina Ure and his followers, which mean Benina Ure, Telia Ure, and Hiran Costa. They were planted in the CPP to destroy the CPP. If they were there, trust me, if their only fight is for Boakai to become president, I swear to God, after leaving the CPP, they will not be fighting Komis. Because they say Komis is nothing. Komis has no follower. Komis can't win. Komis can't win. Komis get nothing. Komis is nobody. Why worry about Komis now after you say you don't want to be part of any collaboration with him? Why don't you leave him alone? The reason why they can't leave him alone because the mission is not accomplished. To accomplish the mission is to make sure that the way is clear for George Weah's second term. That's all the fight is about. Baka is in it unconsciously. He doesn't know whether he's in it, what is in it for him. And I can tell you this today, Steve. Baka is no longer interested in becoming president of Liberia. Trust me. I'm saying it, and you listen to me. 2023, you will see if Baka will run. Baka is no longer want to be president. Baka know he can't be president. Baka know Baka know the people who are there pretending to be for him, they're not for him. They're just using him to extend the tenure of George Weah. Let me tell you something. Benina Ure, Costa, Telia Ure, they are working for George Weah. All the things you can see is all fake. Everything you can see is fake. They are not working for Boakai. They're just using Boakai. And when they're ready to do something, you can threaten Boakai. You saw the last time, before even this thing happened, the whole lawsuit thing happened, Costa came out and said, I don't care what you do, I don't care what you say, but I alone, I put life in Boakai's political aspiration. I make Boakai, I rejuvenated the political life of Justin Boakai. I'm making this, I'm making that. That means what are we about to do? If Boakai failed to follow us, if Boakai do something outside of what we are doing, I can deflate him again. So Boakai must follow Costa. Boakai must follow and listen to Benina Ure. Other than that, his political balloon will be deflected. the aspiration to the presidency will be different. They know Barker not going to win anything. They know Barker cannot. And in fact, to tell you how stupid some people can be, they know very well that this Barker man was the same man that ran against George Weah. When everybody were together, George Weah beat them. And this man went one-on-one, at least with some support of other opposition. Barker did not stay win. And since that happened, nothing have changed for Barker. At least in terms of political aspiration, in terms of financial position. Barker even said that he is relying on banks, on loans for his upkeeping, for survival. They know Barker has nothing to run for president. They know that. They also know Barker's health will not allow him to go through what is required to run for presidency. The man came out and told the world that I'm not well, that I got sick, I was not feeling good. After the 12 years as vice president, the headache, the stress, and after a stressful campaign, he said, after a stressful campaign in 2017, I was not feeling good. So I went to check on myself. They said I have some heart problem. And they put pacemaker in me to support my heart. Think about this. If you are a human being, you can think of your father. You have family, you have parents. Somebody is telling you, I have to take a pacemaker to put it in my system to support my heart. Pacemaker doesn't mean you're going to die right away. It doesn't mean that it's a death sentence. No. But pacemaker is there because you have heart problem that in case there's any heart failure, the pacemaker will help to support your heart before you can get to any medical attention. Pacemaker is there to help your heart like a support system. That if your heart cannot function independently, if at all any problem, anything happened to you, there must be something there to support you. But if somebody tell you, say, I got this problem. Let's say, for example, let me just, hypothetically, somebody say, you know what? Steve, I went to your house. The toboggy you gave me yesterday, since I ate it, I have stomach pain. In fact, doctor told me that I need to be taking certain medicine. But I got this sickness because of eating that toboggy, Steve. And then you Steve, now can't tell me. Steve, Sekou, you know what? The toboggy will go today. Nobody else can really eat this toboggy better than you. So I just want you to eat this toboggy. Think about that. Do you really love me? When I told you that my doctor told me that you are the one that making me sick. The food you gave me is the one that making me sick. But yeah, you want me to, you say you're the best person that can eat this toboggy ever. It means that something is not right. Either you wanted me to eat a toboggy, you want to kill me, or maybe somebody tell you, make sure she could eat that toboggy. That's exactly what's going on. Barker told you that I'm sick, and my sickness is derived from healthcare campaign and stressful campaign. And after 12 years of my vice presidency, I got sick. The man said on 50-50 talk show with Tim Masjela, the video is there, the recording is there. I'm not making it up. The man said I got sick because of what happened, because of the level of stress in the campaign. How will you subject the same person to another stressful campaign, another stressful condition? Knowing that the person tell you that, okay, this is the one that make me sick. Then you want the man to do this, get into the same thing? So it means Barker is into this thing, they're telling him, "Oh, no, you can do it, oh man. Just run. Just run for one term. When you win, if you win, just resign after the one term. Just run. I say, just run. I can't breathe. Just run. You're the only person." Think about that, my people. So, Steve, these guys, they are fighting for George Weah. They are just using Joseph Newman Boakai. Let me talk about something that I will not talk about on the radio, on the show, but I will talk about it today. Yes, the meeting that people talk about, that Boakai and Komis met in Ghana and discussed, that's true. Yes, that's true. The meeting happened. And I know who all were there. And I know how long that meeting lasted for. Still, you want me to talk? I got to talk. Because let me tell you something. That meeting, no, let me say this. That meeting happened. And before the meeting happened, I'll just say, talk a little bit. Just a little bit. So you can have an idea. I will talk a little bit because this thing we got to say it. Because people are so stupid. They don't rationalize. They don't research. And they can't even connect one or two to make it, they say, okay, this is 1 + 1 = 2. They don't even know that. So they're so blinded to the extent where they don't even know what they are doing. Boakai was in America. At the same time, when Komis was here, in order for Boakai, I will just say this and stop. In order for Boakai and Komis to meet and discuss in Ghana, that conversation started right here in America. And people that were involved, I know them, I know their name. Where the first meeting happened here in America, I know it. But I will leave that, I will not call name on that one. But when they went to Ghana, as a matter of fact, our people they like G's. You see, I can see all of them calling their friend now to can't listen. That's what they like. But sometimes I don't want to talk anything, but when I'm pushed, I want to say it. Boakai said he was invited to Nigeria for some kind of function with the plan to go and have a meeting with Komis in Ghana. Boakai's son was there. Jay Kabakole was there. Komis was supposed to fly straight to Liberia, but guess what? Komis has to change. I will talk. Let me say something. I got to talk these things.
Mr. Kane, please, I'm begging. Let's forget about the conversation.
I will not talk everything. I will not talk everything, but I will talk the key thing there, so people will know that everything they are doing. Let me tell you something, Steve. They got a lot of fake people in Liberia. They follow fake, stupid people, thinking that they're for Liberia. So guess what happened? Komis and Boakai met. And what I'm not going to talk about, let me tell you something right now. Let me tell you guys something right now. Some of you who are Boakai fanatics or who are Komis fanatics, let me tell you this today. Let me tell you guys today. Me, I can talk to Boakai. I can talk to Komis. I can talk to Nyomli. And I can talk to key people in the government, very, very close to the president. The only person I will not tell you that I can talk to is Benina Ure. Let me tell you today. So when you come here, stop lying, stop. You people are nothing. Imagine what the people they call doing say. Like some of you, people when people traveling back then, in the day in Africa, they used to put the chicken in a basket and put it over, the load that they're carrying. The chicken that in that basket, that's how some of you are knowing. That chicken knows nothing what is in the real luggage. You know nothing. You just like a followers. You know nothing. Nobody tell you anything. You just follow us. Stupidly following stupid people, tell you whatever you say, you stupidly believing in that. Buckeye Cummings met in Ghana. Jacob Akoli was there. Buckeye Funson was there. Cummings carrying nobody, just himself. maybe I will talk a little bit. I will not talk the thing. I will not talk the thing that happened in the conversation, but I will talk that the conversation happened.
You disturbing the
I will not even say who initiated the conversation because I know it, but I will not say it. But I know the talk happened. So when they met, the two of them were in the room. Nobody was there, right? In order for anybody to know, somebody must talk something as to what happened there. They talk. Buckeye and Cummings talk. So, what happened in their talk, I will leave that one for now. Because of confidentiality, I will leave that. But let me tell you what I'm driving at, Steve. When one of the people who was privileged to this information felt that something is about to happen, call Costa, call Ure, call other people, say, oh, something happening. You know, the paper now me will come in. You know, something trouble. That's what the person said. The person laughed. The person don't know exactly what happened in the house, but the person called now, oh man.
So Mr. Kane, let's establish two facts before you go forward, please.
Yes.
Let's establish two facts. Cummings and Buckeye met one-on-one in the room with nobody else.
In the room with nobody else there. Yes.
That's a fact.
Let's
establish another fact. One of the two parties who brought people with them leaked this information about the meeting. The Costa man or the whoever, they were not even aware of the meeting from the get-go. They didn't know anything about it.
There where I'm going right now.
We move.
No. Yeah, we'll move forward. But let me clarify some of these things. Buckeye is the one that carried his son and Jacob Akoli with him to Ghana. And when Buckeye was leaving, Buckeye said he was going to Nigeria for some kind of function, some kind of school, name after Buckeye, blah, 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 all kind of nonsense thing.
So I was scared. I put it that way.
I don't know why it was, but that one is So Buckeye, instead of Nigeria, Buckeye went to Ghana. So they had this meeting. And in that meeting, a lot was discussed that I am privileged to I know, but I will not say it here. Maybe I will talk to Stevie behind the scene, but I can't say it here. Because maybe I will not even tell you guys, because those are, very important information that I can share. But the reason why I'm talking about this, because these are facts that people need to know, but conversation that happen one-on-one that I know that I cannot discuss and I will never discuss with anybody is that when people got the information, okay, this is going on, and they were eager to know exactly what happened, so they start to throw lies around.
Yep.
So that somebody can be angry and confess and say and explain exactly what happened. You know, like Steve, I say, Steve, you know what? I came my house, you know house there, you say, yeah. But so something got messed in the house. I said, oh, Steve, yeah, when you came there, I didn't see my other computer. I got my fat computer, I didn't see the other one. So Steve can say, no. I came there, I wanted to drink water, or maybe I wanted to take. They want to know what you do in the house because you were there. And no camera were there to tell. So I got to throw anything on you for you to say something. So now, some people, as a result of that, some people are in serious problem right now with one of the party. Because I don't want to call names. Because when I call name, then that will really leak that will give an idea as to what's happening, what happened. So now somebody call now Costa and Bure and other people say, you know what, my man? Something happened. The papi now meet with commies. And because Costa and Ure, they're so stupid for money business, they can do anything. Even they can kill human being for money. I'm saying it. They can do anything for money. Everything they're doing right now, they're doing it for money. So when you hear that, oh, commies meet, so their belief now, the thinking was now, oh, they may finish taking money from this man. And in order for them to continue to destroy the CPP, and if they find out that Bwaka and commies having some kind of backdoor conversation or maybe negotiation, whatever, what have you, guess what? Maybe the CPP will hold. Because if the fight of the CPP is between Jomble not running for anything, Yuri not running for anything. So if Bwaka and commies can have a conversation behind the scene, that means CPP will hold. You think about that. It means that either Bwaka will go president, Komi will go vice president, or Komi will go president, or Bwaka may just step out, Bwaka. But something will happen. There will be some compromise. But because Benina, Ure, and Costa, their mission was to destroy the CPP, they start lying around. Or in fact, trying to now bully Bwaka now. Or in fact, Komi will mail Bwaka. He said, you're getting 5 million. Oh, no, they're 10 million. No, they're 15 million. Oh, no, they're 1 million. Trying to bully Bwaka, making him to feel guilty. Because they want to know exactly what happened in that conversation. In a one-on-one conversation, they want to know. So they have to lie. They got to create story. They got to make the woman feel uncomfortable. In fact, that was the time they intensified the call. Let's destroy the CPP. Let everybody go their way. In fact, it was the same time they announced, you know, when you hear ALP now, that nobody, that Costa, Ure, and Kelly. So now, that's the time now, they wrote a letter to throw it up there that ALP leadership calling on our chairman to withdraw ALP from the CPP because they're afraid, thinking that, oh, shit, the whole thing going to spawn out. And they probably now start talking to the mayor, having one-on-one meeting. Normally, when I consulted, what's his name? You were not consulted, not even to talk about their bear boy, Costa. So what's going on here? Maybe the CPP is about to survive. What's going on? So they got angry. They decided to say, you know what? Since Bwaka trying to do this to us, let's just say we live in the CPP. And let's just also pressure our friends around Bwaka, more early other people. Let us say, we too will leave the CPP. How can Bwaka go have the meeting here with the mayor? He didn't tell nobody. So if Bwaka going to do anything, listen now, if Bwaka going to do anything with commies, without even knowing the content of the discussion, but they want to be privileged to that information, so they say, you know what? Say you went over there without our knowledge, you're on your own. They start to bully the woman. They started to bully him. Started telling him, hey, if that's going to be the case, you're going to be on your own in that CPP. Whatever the problem in this discussion is, with this, Bouakai said, if you remember, when Bouakai took over, Bouakai said he's going to make sure that he will bring peace within the CPP. That you're going to make sure when he took over, you're going to make sure that you reunite the CPP. They will come under one umbrella to take on the main challenge, which is George Weah. Since that thing happened, have you heard Bouakai doing anything or saying anything? Because he was bullied. They stopped him. That's why I've told you guys over and over that Joseph Newman Bouakai, he may be a good man. He may be a statesman. He may have served his country. But at this point, Bouakai is not making decisions for himself. That's just the truth. Bouakai is not making decisions himself when it comes to politics. Every attempt he tried, even to go on some talk shows, he be controlled. He been told where to go, where not to go. And he can say no to them. That's why I told you guys over and over that Bouakai is a victim. He been used, he been controlled, and they want him to play by the sound of their music. Any mistake on his part, Steve, when they saw that, not knowing exactly what really happened in that conversation, but they started to bully him. When you hear Bouakai at me, I don't want to put life into Bouakai. Bouakai presidential bid, I don't want to make it, I don't want to rejuvenate his life. Telling Bouakai, say, what the hell you doing with commies? Whatever discussion you're having, I don't want to make you who you are. How can you not consult me? How come I'm not part of it? In fact, we live in the CPP now. So you think you something now? You now start meeting with people now without our agreement? We're living on your own. That's how Bouakai is now with these guys. So, Benina Ure, Henry Costa using Joseph Bouakai to accomplish their aim, which is to make sure that they clear the way for George Weah second term. That's why Henry Costa Uno Bebo, who is Mo Ali told you in the word that if it's not Bouakai, let George Weah stay there. They say if not Bouakai, let George Weah stay there. Then what happened? What happened to everyday saying George Weah government is incompetent, George Weah government is corrupt, George Weah government is this, George Weah government is that. But yeah, you say if it's not Bouakai, you prefer George Weah to stay there. That means you're good with the corruption, you're good with the killings, you're good with the rape, you're good with all the bad things you say about George Weah. You're good with all of that simply because if it's not Bouakai, it shouldn't be anybody else. You think about that. And if you still think that these people won't change Liberia, if you still think these people, after doing all this in your out clearly on the daylight, after seeing all of this, you still think that these people really mean well for Liberia, then you need to go see a psychiatrist. Something is not right. You need to check yourself. If you cannot see what they are doing, if Costa came up publicly and said, hey, we, that's how he said, we are working with the Liberian government. He said that on a tape. After when you deny that the recording of the document that came out was a fake document, in fact, the video, the chat that happened in their own chat room was fake. Some people say, it was made up. When you said that, then he said, came and said, yes, indeed, it was me. In fact, we are us. We are working with George Weah government to bring down Alexander Cummings. That's not working. He said we will not agree for him to go on the ballot. Stupidly so, when you know that they may already ran, In 2017, he said the man will not be qualified to run for president. See how stupid some people can be? Very, very stupid. Like to the extent that you can even forget what happened yesterday. The same constitution you have today, it was the same constitution yesterday. It has not been amended. We still have the Liberian Constitution of 1986. And beyond that, recently, the Supreme Court came down to say, if you are Liberian yesterday, regardless of what you do, you're still a Liberian. But yet, after everything, trying to do everything, you think about this now. If these people are now, if it's about Bakai, after they move on their own, Bakai will just run or whatever. But because it's about working for the Georgia government, he's saying, in fact, we will protest, we will not allow this man to run for president. For what? You say Bakai is the most popular person. You say Bakai is the way of the people. You say Bakai is the most popular person in Liberia. The Georgia is next to him. The communist is the bottom. Why don't you allow everybody run on their own now? Let's agree now, everybody move on. Why don't you allow them to run? Because they're not working for president. They're not working for Bakai to be president. They are working to make sure that there will be no obstacle in the ways of President George Mane we are for the re-election. If you still support the same people, you know, you are also endorsing the we are second term, or there's also more again here. Steve, Njeko.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Amen.
Well, thank you so much, Sekou. In as much that I didn't want to dive into this, but just before I get to telco, I really don't want to get into this, but sometimes it's important to have some of these conversations openly, you know, and there are patterns here that we all can put together, whether you choose to ignore them, you know, willingly or not. The facts remain the facts. The facts remain the facts.
I'm taking 1 minute break.
And one of the facts that's here was on, I think January. Let me put my timeline together. January 26 or 28. I know I had just left Pennsylvania or so forth. I was on my way from Pennsylvania, and I was at the airport, and I listened to Spoon Talk, and the timestamp is there, and I wrote there. When the gentleman Costa said he knew about the meeting in Ghana and didn't want to encourage Joseph Boakai to go there, that's a lie. He didn't know about the meeting. He was clueless. It was later on when he was hinted about the meeting. He was not even told the full details. He was never told the full details. He didn't know about the meeting. Even when he said it that day on the show, I wrote it there. I said that's not true, and I challenge you because you didn't know about that meeting. You didn't know about the meeting. It was later on. It's written there. Go on Spoon Talk. It's there. To corroborate something also, even the people from Spoon did not know about the meeting. They were informed through DC as well. Not from the people that were in the meeting. So as to create propaganda and create this big old noise or whatever. But again, that's a side point. The point here is when you decide deliberately to ignore these signs and ignore facts or whatever it is, in anything you do in your life, there are signs. When you decide to ignore them, there are consequences. Like it or not, there are consequences for them. You cannot ignore warning signs. You cannot. You cannot overlook warning signs. You cannot. And don't brush warning signs off because they're critically important to help you make the next decision in your life or the next step or whatever you want to do or whatever you choose to do. So at the end of the day, people can pass it around and say whatever they need to say. That's on them. That's fine. But the truth are there. What happened in the meeting that day, what was said, it was only between two men, two adults. What was said in that room that day? When you hear them talking about it, they're talking about it on a mission or whatever it is. But let me get to to pick your brain on something. I know you really don't like to gauge into the political side of this thing that much. I will come back to the CPP just a little bit, but want to divert on something here. One of President Weah's speech that was hallmark, which someone wrote for him. Most times, they're speech writers. It stated, we'll come back to the CPP, but I want to bring this into ask Tell this question. He stated that Liberian will not be spectator in the economy, rather than partake in the economy, vice versa, whatever. Now, here's my question for you, Tell. It was reported this morning. I got his sources here. Let me read it out, because we don't want to be having conversation and be talking like breaking news people or on the top of our head. We want to talk with factual informations where we can quote sources. So let me state this to you here. There was a report on the Routers from the Routers. It's a newspaper, and the person who wrote this article, name is Michelle Nichols. It's an exclusive envoy to UN cancels trip to Liberia, and it stated the reason there. I'll send the article to both of you. That Linda Greenfield will cancel her plan to visit Liberia this week. Instead, to focus on UN diplomacy over Russia troop built up near Ukraine. The UN mission to the United Nations said. So that was the reason. So Linda Greenfield has to focus on this. They give it priority. Here's my question to you. If Liberia will not be spectator in the economy, yesterday we saw radio or whatever it is, personnel from Ghana pulling into the country. If Liberia will not be spectator, we saw Nigerian artists P Square made it official that it will be in Liberia for the bicentennial celebration.
They entered yesterday.
Yes. So what does that say to you? And what would you urge the Liberian, what are the news outlet or the Liberian people or whatever, what would you urge them to do in this time? Because this is not the government's first time misbehaving or doing this nonsense. What would you say?
Well, to add sauce to it, Roland Martin and his crew will either be there today or tomorrow morning. Okay. So
that means the spoon and other BB platform.
Who will be there tomorrow at their own expense. Okay. But Roland Martin people are paid big boss.
Okay.
So they see Liberia will not be spectator in their own country. It's right there. So they take the whatever 5 million, I don't remember how much the budget allocation, but they're able to use that money to hire Ghanaians to come and do the work. African American to broadcast that may be running, I think, since almost close to a year. At the same time they hire Bakari Sanders. It's the same time they hire him. Okay. So he's been running that promotion. Well, yeah, me saying, who can talk about us more than ourselves?
That's what I'm referring to. Roland Martin? Mm-hmm. When I've seen Roland Martin used to work for Fox.
Yes, I think so. I don't know the connection.
The guy who podcast on Facebook.
Yes. Big money.
Going to Liberia?
He's been doing Liberia work. They hire him. He's been broadcasting and telling our story for almost over 6 months.
Hire him for what? To do what?
To tell what he's doing here. The team working TV doing the same thing, SKT doing the same thing everybody else doing, but they can hire.
He's from Chicago. I know him. I follow him.
So
I know a lot of
him. So he's just going to go finish the work. So they're going there, and so they'll be there. But it's upsetting.
I saw the picture with somebody with the mic. I think that's him.
I don't know if he's there yet. They're arriving tomorrow or today.
No, somebody posted a picture. I think somebody just posted a picture of him and one Roland Martin, and then the other people.
Then that's him. Then that him for the arriving.
They said they were in Paris.
Yes, they are arriving either tomorrow morning or
Well, I couldn't see the face, but I saw the marks on here, so I didn't know who
well,
it
you can see the type of his face or the body. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
that's it. I mean, so it's upsetting, and to your point of the people should protest. I said it the last time, when it started with this whole P square thing. I think some of these people are so confused. 1 minute they're saying 200 years of celebration. The 1 minute they say it's a African pennant. I can't
So,
say
what's the connection with Royal Mountain and Liberian government and then Spoon Talk? What happened?
There's no connection. No. I think the point.
I just want to know because I saw the guy with the Spoon Talk guys.
They may be on the same flight because they all are the same flight, all going to Liberia. It's just they probably just happen to be on the same flight. I don't know if that's a connection. I don't know. I don't know.
I saw the post from Tumali George. That him, Roland Martin and the other people. So I was asking, what's the connection and how they get together, going to Liberia together for this program?
They probably met on the same flight or met in transit. Those things happen.
Okay, Steve.
Yes.
So I mean, when it comes to
they're laughing with that. I want us to conclude this CPP stuff.
Mr. Connor, we just got to create some kind of balance within the middle here to clarify that part out really quick.
So that part, I mean, it's very upsetting talking about from the culture people to now. That's why I say, depending on who you're talking to, some people will say, 200 years celebration. Some people will say, Pan-African. You can't be celebrating too. If you're celebrating 200 years of existence, then it has to be all about us. Why you're bringing all these people, all the P Square not coming for free? P Square, you're paying him Boko's money. You can come to, I saw Leisure who really coming to lie to the public. I had some respect for Leisure who way back. But the way these people can come out and just lie for no reason other than to keep a job, it's just disturbing. And say, the government got nothing to do with it. It's a friend, he came to do it for free. P Square will not even perform on his own Nigerian person activity for free. They will not do it. And not coming on top of that, they're going to probably make a song and offer job. We are going to that money what they not collect. And then I'm speaking Liberian English and I'm putting no American English. Then you turn around. You're paid African American all this money. I have to say the money you paid Pakari Salas was not enough, our tax dollars. You turn around, you pay African American to according to you to market Liberia and they say all the best things about the government and how the government making great strides. I have to say we can see. I have to say the world.
Marketing Liberia to who?
To the world. So that the world can see that the government is doing well. And so they say that the country is doing well. So in turn, they can be able to get aid, they can be able to get investors. You know how that is.
But who's best to market Liberia?
Huh?
Who's best to market Liberia? Who's best to talk about Liberia?
But that's my point I've always been making. Who can tell our story more than us? I started it last with the culture, with the artists. Who can tell our story more than us? The money that you take to go get to Roland Martin and other people, you can find, I don't talk about the one that can say bombshell, but you can find some credible platforms around here and say, you know what, we see your work, you're doing other pocket. We'll contract you even for a short term and say, hey, you're talking about the bicentennial, we'll send you the videos, we'll send you the flyers, we'll send you blah, blah, blah. Nobody want your money, but at least you need to appreciate your own. People take time out of their, their work schedule, their family time, their mean time, and they do these things, and you'll take bogus or tax that up money and go and give it to other people to come tell their story. I mean, that's that. What? How much slap you can put in the Liberian people's faces? What part of us you need to slap now? Because you're not slap every part of us. What part you need to slap? Because they want more than slap in the face.
So we'll talk more about that tomorrow and expand on it. But here's a political question on the CPP that I want for you and Sekou to address. Given all that we've heard, given all that we know from the public, and others might know more from the back or so forth from the back end, my question to you and Sekou would be, when did the CPP leaders know about this document? When did they know about it? Because we saw celebrations when they were awarded the certificate to run on the CPP ticket. We saw human beings almost lost their life in Ganta City when this same ALP wanted to work with Liberty Party to get either Gonglo Wule on a ticket. They fought one way. They had this big thing. People were hurt. It brought a huge disgrace to the CPP. The CALP. Costa came on the show and said they played one way in the last minute. It was on a CPP. When did these political leaders get aware of this document? Or the document was sent to NEC and the signature and everything was fine and they celebrated and the jubilated, so forth. When did they get aware? Were they aware, or that just today they got to know that no signature were there, whatever it is? What's going on here?
I think that's a good question, and I think that's a good question even for the courtroom for any judge or any the defense lawyer to cross-examine them with, because I mean it's really concerning. I mean, we never heard about this until 9 months later, before we started hearing I got my copy, the signature is not mine, and all of that. So I don't know. I don't remember any of them saying when they got to know. So maybe Sekou will know, but I don't remember. Okay, other than the first press conference that we saw 3 of them too, but I don't think they addressed the question directly. But okay. Sekou, I'm sure you're more abreast with this than me.
Sekou, what do you think? What is this?
When they got to know, I think they knew it when they were told that CPP as an institution was satisfied by the NEC to run for election. That time they knew. I believe they're not that dumb, they're not that stupid. If either, it's 2 things. Either they knew that they signed it, as we were told that Mo Ali went around to take signature to be placed on it. Maybe they knew that they signed it. Now lying, or you're lying now that they didn't sign. Or they didn't sign anything. The allegation that Komis abstracted the signature page from the first document and placed it in the amended document. Maybe they knew that and they didn't see problem with it. Because thinking that let's just accept everything as is, they may did it in good faith. Let's move on. They did it for CPP. But with the mindset, eventually, the CPP is not about Boakai. Let me Boakai something. That was the thinking of Liberty Party. Normally, can run for vice president, and then, Boakai will not be there for 1 term, maybe 2-3 years. Boakai will resign. Normally, automatically becomes the president, and that will make Liberty. That will be the easiest and the easiest path to Liberty Party getting the presidency. So they let things go because of what is in it for them. But after knowing that it was not that easy, and trying to get rid of this person, they will say, "Wow, after we have done everything, this man is not virgin. So what we can do right now is to put problem behind him." But like I said, that would be the mindset. That would be the mindset of Nyombli, Dylan, and other people. But Benina Ure as a person, Benina Ure's mission is to destroy CPP. It's not to make Boakai anything. Nyombli then fell into this whole thing with the belief that could be the easiest way for Liberty Party to get to the presidency. That's all.
So, but Mr. Kanem, given what you are saying to you and tell, and I'll start from you, Mr. Kanem, can we say here that all of them either in a better or cram if all factors stay consistent or constant?
Yeah, if if there is any crime committed, as a matter of fact, let me say this, let me clarify this, Steve. If, I don't know whether Kumi's system of lawyers, I don't know if they have talked about this, but I think, even though I'm not a lawyer, but from a logical standpoint, it will make sense to ask if Kumis is accused of moving signature page to from one document to the other. Was this done personally by Kumis as a person? If not, was this done because Kumis is accused because he was the leader of the ANC, and the ANC as a party had the chairmanship of the CPP? And if the answer is whatever was done, Kumis is accused simply because he was the head of the ANC chairing the CPP, then the lawsuit cannot be against Kumis. It should be against the ANC as an institution. Because I don't think Kumis personally did anything with any document. As an institution, Kumis may have other people, secretary, lawyers, and other people that may work on the document. But if Kumis did not personally use the document, if he was sued for being the head of the institution, then the institution should be sued.
What
should be the so wait, I'm getting there. So then if this document was filed to NEC fraudulently,
yes,
as it has been said by them, that means any Liberian or government of Liberia or anybody who kind of feel deceived by the CPP to submit fraudulent document to NEC and allow Liberian people to go to election, those who were defeated with a fraudulent document can also sue the CPP for putting fraudulent document in there and call for the election to be null and void and call for re-election. Because if election, we went through the election and people that won the election, they won fraudulently. You know, people always say, what is not done right is not done at all. So if the election was based on a fraudulent document as been suggested by the Liberian government and URE, that means the entire CPP, not only the jointly, whatever happened in the inner fight, that one is on them. But Liberians and the government of Liberia can say, you know what, you guys deceived the Liberian people. If
so, by some feel like can file a lawsuit.
If there's any crime committed, that means it was committed by the CPP. because you know, if Kumis was acting as ANC chairperson, as ANC standard bearer, that's the reason why he was the chairman of the CPP. If ANC can be sued for that, then of course Kumis was acting as the chairperson of the CPP, so CPP should be sued. Okay. And that document.
The lawsuit is showing ANC or is showing Mr. Kumis? Because I haven't paid attention.
That's the question.
What is it showing?
That's what I'm saying.
It's showing Kumis along with others, not necessarily the ANC. No, Kumis. It's showing Kumis. Others are Nathan, and what he mean?
Okay, so it's not showing the party.
No,
so that means it's showing members of ANC.
Yeah, so it's selected certain people.
I like the logic you're making, and it sounds reasonable, because if CPP is a collaboration of parties, then if one point is you sue CPP, or if you want to go with one person, then you sue Cummins, because Tune from the top, he represents his party.
Exactly. And so
I mean, logically, it makes sense.
So you sure
Well,
okay, he said now, let's say Cummins say, well, in fact, let's assume crime was committed, but I did not personally do anything with this document. I didn't even touch any document. Maybe I'm being accused now because they were done under my leadership.
It falls on the leader by default.
Exactly. But when it falls on the leader based on the institutional level, because you are the leader of the institution.
Yeah.
So that means exactly. So what happened? The fault will be added on the institution. The reason why it's falling on you, not that you personally did anything. You are only taking the Kenya because you are the leader of the institution. So whatever crime that was committed, it should fall on the institution. That's the reason why even directed are you.
Well, there are some instances where
hold on now. Both of you are my guests.
Well, let me put a quick point.
Yeah,
there are some instances we're looking at fraud, and just because I carry a fraud license, I've been carrying it since 2007. I'm a certified fraud examiner, so I love that. I love fraud. There are some instances where people can sue the institution and they sue the person too. Double sue. So I don't know about Liberia, but
okay. So here's
double sue means, like Steve, that double sue there, you can double sue. Let's say if you sue an institution, or if you sue an institution, and then some people within that institution personally did certain thing, then you can sue them. Also the institution. But in this case, it's very hard to believe that Cummins personally did anything, if at all he did something.
But only the judge can determine that.
Exactly. But Cummins was sued. Cummins was not the secretary. We know that. Cummins is not a lawyer. We know that.
To the institution.
Exactly. So they should sue the institution because ANC Cummins became the chairman of the CPP simply because of ANC. So ANC should have been the one to be sued, Steve.
So I want to come back to something. I want to come back to something because I got two more questions.
And then that opens the door too for anybody to sue the CPP for, if at all it was proven to be a fraudulent document. That means CPP as an institution put in fraudulent document. So everybody that voted and lost the election based on the fraudulent document, people should also have the right to go and sue. Not only sue the CPP, but also sue individual candidates that ran on the fraudulent document. That means
maybe Liberia there's provision for that, because if there was no provision for that, the judge would have threw that out. I'm thinking there's provision for that.
You're hold on because I wanted to establish this thing so that we can ask the next few questions. I will tie into the answers you guys have. Here's the next question for both of you. Here's the next question. Before I come to the CDC part of this thing, here's the next question for both of you. From what we are hearing, both as a moderator and from our audience or our viewers and listeners, from what we are hearing, that means Bezonga Finley could wake up tomorrow and say he wants to sue Yombli Kanga Lawrence for knowingly running on a fraudulent document that took the elections away from him, and also sue the CPP at large. Will that be a possibility?
Yes, because that's a very good point. Not only a possibility, but Bezonga Finley can say, not only Yombli was a senator, but Yombli was also a political leader of the Liberia Party, under which ticket she ran. And knowing that she did not sign the document of the CPP that she ran under,
right?
She didn't run as a Liberty Party. She ran as CPP, Liberty Party candidate under the CPP. That means they were satisfied based on the CPP document.
Most definitely.
So they won as a member of the collaboration. That's why they were satisfied by the Election Commission. So now when it based on that, anybody, but Yombli case is even a unique one, in a sense, because not all the candidates that ran and won as CPP senators were political leaders. They didn't have to sign anything. But at least they were told by their parties that they were qualified to run, and they were qualified only because their party was signatory to the collaboration. But Yombly case is so unique in a sense. Yombly is one of the people that should have signed or that supposedly signed the pay document. If she can come on and say, or go to court to say, hey, that document that was filed on our behalf as CPP member, I didn't sign it. That document is fraudulent. But yet, you know they didn't sign the document. You know the document was fraudulent. You took a virtual lap because you was satisfied as an institution. And not only that, you make Liberian government, Liberian people, election is expensive. We know exactly how much they spend that time to have that election. We're talking about millions of United States dollars. You make us to spend that much of money, knowing that this document is fake document, but yet you ran on it. You say it was good document. You took oath and ran on this document, knowing the document is fake, is fraudulent. I think that person, anybody can sue and have a good case.
Well,
Okay,
everybody, let me come in.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
What is the direct harm there to a person like Finley? There's no direct harm there to him because
No, there is.
you gotta look at it from a point that the direct
How?
harm to him.
How?
And then wait. And
No,
then
I see.
and then also timing too. So it's like I was in a class. I took a test. I was cheating. They disqualified my paper. What is the harm to Steve? What is the harm that I cheated and they disqualified my 90? There's not the right harm to Steve. So what the teacher can do, tear my paper and say, you know, you can use zero, we kick you out of the school for plagiarism or whatever it is. So the state now can say, you know what? Everything that came out of this fraudulent document or as a result of this document, the fact that we're going to nullify this document,
Okay.
so everything else that came out of it will nullify because everything else is a byproduct of fraud. But that's not direct harm to person I feel it.
Okay, I agree with that.
That makes sense.
I
I
agree with that, but similarly, if this document of the CPP, if at all it was fraudulently filed with some, fraudulently filed, let's say, and after Benina Ure and the ALP have withdrawn from the CPP, that document will have no direct harm to him at all. Because, in fact, you're no longer a part of it. Your signature don't matter anymore. There's nothing on it will be binding on you.
Have they withdrawn? They haven't withdrawn. They said they requested to withdraw. Right?
I just told you guys the reason why they said they were withdrawing, because they were trying to put fear in Boakai, because they felt like Boakai was trying to negotiate. I know.
Okay. So you just hypothetically, if they withdraw, then they have not. But then that not do with them.
No. According to Costa on the show, Costa said on Spoon that they have withdrawn. When you were said that, no, you guys said that you were going to withdraw it, he said that's not how it works with the ALP. What they can do, they have already done it, but they came out to let the people know that they're going to ask the chairman what to do. But he said they have withdrawn. That's what he said on Spoon Talk. I heard him say that.
So yes.
So let's assume now, hypothetically, they stay there, but thinking about withdrawing, what is the direct harm to Ure for signature being attached or attached to the document, fraudulent document in there, which is no longer part of the CPP? What is the direct harm to him?
Well, at the time he was part of the CPP, the crime took place. Let's say a crime. We just say now, if there's a crime, it hasn't been established yet. At the time, this signature that here is not my signature, or I didn't write this piece of it. Somebody took it and said I wrote it. I didn't write it. You're sending forward. So at the time, to look here at the time, but going forward.
Okay. Let's agree, Telco. At the time, you okay. Let's assume that you're all part of the CPP right now. What is the direct harm of this document to Boakai, Ure, Yombly, that does not affect Lieutenant Cummings?
I can't say that does not affect Mr. Cummings because I can't compare the two. But when you say the direct harm,
no. What I'm saying, let's assume now their document, their signature, the signatures were forged and put it on the document and filed, for which they all ran on. They all took a virtual lab and we ran on it. Let's assume everything is everything. Let's take everything constant.
Right.
But yet, now, what is the direct impact or direct harm to Boakai, to Ure, to Yombly if the CPP document was to remain as is? What is the direct harm to them?
Well, if it remains as is, you have a signature on there that is not my signature. It's a forged signature. So it's my signature that you're parading it. You are parading a fake signature under the interpretation or telling people that it's my signature and it's not my true signature. It's either a copy signature or it's a mimic signature. That's the harm there. My signature. I didn't sign that check. So whatever that document that you're carrying around, your signature is an extension of you. So if you don't sign something, that's the harm there. That's your signature. That's
so the harm is their signature.
No, I'm just saying, we see hypothetically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, hypothetically, is their signature is up there, and that signature that is there, we're talking about harm.
Right.
The thing is, because saying, I don't agree with this, I don't want you to do this to me, is different from.
But that's a different thing.
Yeah, from the harmful, exactly, from the harmful aspect. I'm trying to know what is the harm. If they're there, let's say CPP moving on.
Let's say everybody signed it, right?
Yeah.
Everybody truly is signatory to it.
Yeah. Let's say Boakai now is the chairperson or Senator Bureau to the something. What is harmful part of this document to them when the intention of the CPP was to make sure that they form a collaboration, they run on the collaboration ticket. So what is the harm in there when in fact they were dancing for that document to be approved? Now the document is approved. Now the document is satisfied. Now you run on it. What is the harm in there?
So before I answer, let me just say that to your viewers. We're talking hypothetically here. Before they start saying, oh, they say and the signature of force. We're not courtroom here. We're not here to establish that. We're talking hypothetically. I see somebody going crazy here with comments. So the point there is, Sekou, if everybody agreed to the signature, everybody agreed to the signature and the content there within, then the only harm there is ego. You know, what I want for myself, what I think is good, that's not what Sekou wants, and I have the choice to walk away. So why remain there? If what I want doesn't align with what you want, then step away. What's hard in there? Take your chateau card, take your chair, and you go.
So okay, so Steve, just 1 second. So you know the reason why I did this question, Tel? If I'm saying if there is anything fraudulent, the harm, if there's any harm done, if there are any harms done, it is done to other people, the Liberian government, the state, and people who ran against the CPP candidate and lost
money and time too.
Yeah,
right.
Lost money, time, and everything on the fraud. They are the direct victim. I think they are the one can claim to say, you know what, this is harmful to us. Not only we lost time, money,
but there's no guarantee that they are going to win anyway.
We don't know. We don't know.
What if, so you have to change the rerun.
Yeah, but what if Dopo will not qualify? Maybe they will have won. What if, let's say, if Yomli will not qualify to run, Wezinga will not win? He could have won.
I don't know. Yeah, chance he could have won because
the reason why they lost because the people ran. So
you have to change the rerun.
For example, if Dillon didn't run, if Dillon was disqualified for running on a fraudulent document after if the this document was exposed to NEC after the deadline, that means Dillon was not going to run, right? That means this guy Thomas Fala had a chance to win. So they knew that the document was fraudulent, but yet they ran on it taking a chance. but now they won, but they put that one behind them now, trying to take another chance, but that's not going the way they want it. So now they blow alarm on themselves.
So,
Well,
so,
the judge will have to establish the direct harm there.
So I
I
wanna-
mean, they will have to, and they will have to prove a lot to
So
say
I wanna
because
ask-
of this, that's why I didn't win. There will be
I
a
wanna
lot
get-
to prove there.
I want to get to my last question for the day, and then we'll
There'll be
take
a
some
lot.
calls to get some reaction. Here's the last question. The last question is mostly focused on the CDC part. Did Bernard Ure incriminate the government, which makes this case even more funny, interesting, waste of time, and I will say in my own words, stupid. I'll give you why. Bernard Ure said he was tipped by someone within the NEC. Mind you, NEC is the representation of this same government when it comes to voting, legal registration, anything that has to do with election. NEC is the arm that is responsible for that. So it is the government's representation. So my question to both of you is this. Knowing that NEC probably did not have the quote-unquote original document, that two in one question. The first question is, how did this person who tipped Bernard Ure in NEC know that something was wrong in that document? The second part of this question also is, why did NEC accept a fraudulent document and allow people to run on it for a year without saying anything? Rather, they allow Bernard Ure to contact them. Those are my two questions. Did the government get implicated into the case as well? While you're answering it, please. Yes. No, that's your go first, Mr. Kane. Ladies,
I'll start with your last question first. It's easy to
I don't want you to
answer.
get in trouble, Mr. Kane. Why you guys are answering that question?
No, I'll ask for the last question because the last question is so easy to answer because I mean you can't NEC would not have known that the document was fraudulent and then they will allow somebody to run on it. No, they won't do that. They accept one or later on the game. They accept it for what it's worth. Once they met the criteria, they look at it, met all the guidelines, they accepted it. They didn't know. Now, the other aspect of it, I don't have the facts to really speak to that, so I don't know. It's concerning that someone in the government will give out information to another person, but it doesn't only happen in Liberia. It happens in America, here, everywhere. Is it a good habit? No. But when they get to court, he will have to call that person name and how he got that document because defense lawyer will run with that one. He has to call his source. We're not talking behind the court door now. That everybody on the best scheme here, you can't just say somebody. You will disclose that source, that courtroom now. Everything will come outside. So that's what I gotta say with that. The first question.
So let me agree with you. For me personally, hey, I'm on the show, Ayuba. Hey, let me say this, Telco. I don't think that Bernard Ure did anything wrong to the government. As a matter of fact, Bernard Ure is an agent of the government. Bernard Ure did not create any problem for the government. NEC have no way of knowing that this is a fraudulent document if that's what CPP sent to her. Whatever you give me, there are requirements. Mm-hmm. Their job is not to find out what is fake, what is not fake. There are requirements to make sure that yes, indeed, if this is a collaboration, that this document was signed by all parties in the collaboration. They know the requirements as to how they can satisfy a document. The only thing is, after the fact is established, and the court come down with a decision that yes, indeed, this document is fraudulent, that this document is illegal. I know clearly NEC will not keep a fraudulent document there. NEC will kick that document out, but the court decision will determine as to what will happen. Because if that document is deemed fraudulent, fake, it was not done properly from the beginning, from the onset, if that document is nullified, I believe, I say I believe because I'm not a lawyer, I believe whatever that comes with that document will or should also be nullified. But then, if the government of Liberia tried that, even though this document is fraudulent, these people were elected on a fraudulent document, and their mission is only to take down commies and say, you know what? All the people that were elected, we can't do nothing, by the way, already being elected. That means that will prove what we have been saying all along, that this is an organized crime, that this is well planned, a conspiracy to remove, to get at commies. Because that way, if the government want to say, you know what, all commies did this document was fraudulently filed, but we can't do nothing about the people that already elected. That means those people that are elected on a fraudulent document are working with the government just to get rid of one person. And that will bring us back to one thing, that is a system in Liberia, the corrupt system, that everybody accept, they want to be part of it. But they only have problem with that share of the pie. When there's the CDC, they let the corrupt system. But you know, the party people and other people within the country that are used to the corrupt system will go against the Unity Party in the eyes of the people, making it look like they are against the people. They are doing it for the people. They're not doing it for the people. They're only doing it for themselves because they're not getting enough. They too want to be the heir and take the lion's shares of the pile, but it's not for the people. That means if the government can come out and say Communist is guilty or ANC is guilty, they file a fraudulent document and do whatever they want to do with Communist and the ANC. But then yet, they did nothing. When it comes to people that were elected on that fraudulent document, the likes of Young Bleak, DeLong, and other people, that means this is a conspiracy devised by all of them, including those people, just to eliminate one person, but it's not for justice.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kane. Well, then that will bring us to, and this is what I wanted to add before we start taking calls to get reaction from the public, because we've gone 2 hours in, I think, a few minutes on top of our time. But this is what I wanted to add. This is just what I wanted to add to this. I agree with you and tell that if this proceeding goes as it is, one of the options on the table should be, all of them should be decertified. Yeah. All of those who benefited from this, because as evidenced by that, it's a criminal document. If it is established now, it is a criminal document, and people should even push it forward as to holding all of them liable for knowingly accept a criminal document to whatever it is.
People.
Yes, but the last part of this also that I wanted to add here, Mr. Kane, in order to clarify this, is this. It is also important for us to know that if this proceeding was to go on, that means one of Benedict U.S. witnesses, because he stated from his own mouth, Benedict U.S. stated that the way he got to know about this was he was alerted from NEC. He stated it's open stuff. That means one of Benedict U.S. witness could also be challenged during the proceedings, because you will have to provide a witness that tells it this is not a gossip thing. It's not a going behind the hall and talking now. You have to provide.
No, Steve, let me tell you something. If it's proven that yes, indeed, the information he got
came from NEC.
No, it's proven that it's true, that something was not right. I don't think they will care about who gave you the information.
No, that you care. No, Mr. Kane.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. If somebody called, let's say somebody came and burglarized my door here. One of my neighbors called the police that something is not right. It looks like somebody is burglarizing that door. And the police came there. And they found somebody in there actually stealing. They will not care about that person that called. They will care about the crime that was committed. They will care about the person that committed the crime. They will not care about the whistleblower person who gave the information. They will not care about that. That's what I think.
In this case, witnesses will be critically important. Go ahead. You're on mute. Mama.
It's they have to reference the source.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you don't have to call name.
Yeah, but they may not call the name to the public just for confidentiality, but they will have to reference that in the documentation.
Yes.
This
is a criminal procedure. It's a big case.
This person call. They're not going to do that.
They will not do it in the public, but in the documentation.
If we public document, they will not do that. Trust me.
No, they won't.
No, but Sekou, not all.
They will say this person call me. They will say
not all government information is public information. There's something that we do is sensitive.
So it was not significant if the public would not know. So
that's what I'm saying, but it will still be documented somewhere in some sort of report. That different layers of information.
That will call me for neck and say this.
Yeah.
They have to reference that person.
They will say we got information for neck.
And the defending lawyer will have to.
They will never unveil the name of the person that called.
They may not put in the public, but some sort of documentation. They have to document that source of that person.
But that person will even have to take the stand in this case to be cross-examined.
For what?
Yes.
For what?
But he's a witness.
Yeah, for what? Now that it didn't happen. If it happened.
Yeah.
They have to. So Sekou, this is a full circle here, investigative circle.
Exactly.
So what prompted him to go looking?
Exactly.
And he told this person and all of there's a full investigation.
This government is amnesty for being the prosecutor. They're not going to do that.
Okay, so they're not
in a normal prosecution.
Exactly. You're talking about normal government. You're talking about normal system. They're not going to do that. So if this was a person, all from the other side, yes, indeed, they will want to know. So right now, they're asking for a document that they may not have. So they were going to know. But the fact that will undermine the government's side of the case, they will not do that. They will not even care about that.
So they will not bring the person to the public, but the person will have an investigation or a conversation, and that will have to be documented. Why they were looking, what prompted their curiosity, what did they see, how did they see.
I would love to see.
I mean, when you say cross-examine, that kind of opens up, but they will be investigated, and it can be private. They can call into a conference with just two people, and whatever they say, but it will be documented because you can't just get us. You can't just get out of the blues. I can just get out and just go dig on someone a company business when I got no business. It's a need to know basis. I must have a justifiable reason to go digging.
I love the case.
I can't just get out on a good day and start digging behind AT&T or digging behind and whatever it is. I got no business there. So
I hope the case start
if the government cares to know, yes, they will know, they will call, but they don't care. And they will not care about that. Trust me.
Yeah, but you can't just
this whole thing is not a normal case. This thing is not a normal country. This thing is not a normal judicial system.
Well, I'm talking about
this is all politics, and it's meant to bring one person down, and that person is communist. So anything that will muddy the water for the government, they're not going to care about that. They're not going to talk.
So why communist paying this man all this money for? And now why you pay lawyers for?
The lawyer can say, but who get a final say? The judge?
No.
The judge
yes, the judge. This and that.
If the judge denies, if the judge in this kind of case denies that this witness cannot be known, can just be anonymous and scrutinized, then that means that witness cannot be here also. They cannot use that witness. No. That's not how it's going to work, Mr. Kane. This is a case. Look, this is an international or big case. It's not a small case. If you want to trump up charges against someone, you must have the evidence at your hands to do it in this kind of situation. If not,
I think I agree with Steve because if you say you can't disclose your source, then the defense can say, okay, if you can't disclose your source, then they're not coming to testify. We're scratching that out. So we'll go to the next stage.
We'll go to the next evidence.
So then, what are they now? Now worrying about somebody who accused. The person is not even bringing any documentation to prove that yes, indeed, somebody who accused now. He's not bringing any document whatsoever to prove his case, to say, you know what, a crime was committed against me. Here are the facts. They're not even worrying about that. But
But we don't know that though.
they are asking. We know that if they have any evidence by now, I'm not going to put it
No,
out.
but if they're not saying it to the public, maybe they give it to them in private.
What they're saying, we want you that's been accused to bring evidence that you committed a crime. But we do not have anything to show to tell you, okay, you know what? X, Y, and Z say you committed a crime and we have the proof of crime being committed. But they're telling you, they're accusing you, you're the one committed the crime, but they're telling you now, bring evidence against yourself. Then at the point that you think they will bring somebody to come prove. They're telling you now, stupidly telling you, say, you committed a crime, but you yourself will bring the evidence against yourself. That the point that will care about witness taking stand. Under normal system, that's what it's supposed to be. But this is not a normal country. This is not a normal justice system. It's all trumped up, and it is something.
Oh, it will get no more. On a particular one, they put a phone in the mall, it will get no more. On a particular one, they put a phone in the mall, it will get no more.
All right.
Because
let me cause.
I have a call here.
Yeah, but take that question Friday. I got somebody on hold for 15 minutes.
Okay, so caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? I'll post another number here for TLV2. You can call to as well. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
It is Cyrus calling from Minneapolis, as usual.
Yes, Cyrus.
Can you put the numbers up? No,
yeah, go ahead, Cyrus.
Hey, okay. I just want to make a point to Sekou. I'm now a lawyer by profession, but in the kind of a criminal case, the standards are the same. We got something like called the Freedom of Information Act. So when you claim to be a witness in a criminal case, you cannot assume that your information is going to be confidential. So if Benenda Yure is assuming that he got a tip from NEC is an arm of the government controls every major institution in that country, then that person will have to come out because you're talking about the leader of another opposition party facing criminal charges. But that's not the main reason I call. You see, Sekou lay a beautiful expose at the beginning of this show concerning the Joseph Boakai. You see, the whole documenting is a process of elimination. That's what it's all about. We all know. Anybody with a common sense know what this thing is all about. That's why the guys keep removing the GoPro. First, they said the document was finger and author with criminal intent. But when we look at all the reports and all the documents, we knew that argument couldn't hold water. So they switched it to falsification of signature. But then don't forget, the document was signed on Zoom. It was never signed in person, right? That was the first thing. So if a document is signed on Zoom, it means you did it remotely. It means that even the so-called signature you are claiming to be your original is not original. And then the letter said, no, it was not about the signature. It's about signature that was signed and then slapped onto another document after a revision was made. So it's three different things going on. But the thing is, we are trying to seek legal remedies in a political case. And that's the thing that is going to get coming happen. We all know this case cannot hold water, but it's a political case and they will keep it going. And yeah, is another point. This whole thing about Benena Yure, if you go to the genesis of it, you can tell that it was pre-planned. How do you think Benena Yure started concentrating on the exit clause? Benena Yure brings nothing to the table. Benena Yure can never become president for Liberia. Benena Yure cannot even win an election in Harrisburg. So him being in the CPP is not about the presidency. He can only be an agent of Joshua. We all know that relationship. He financed Joshua from 2017 from 2011 up to now. We all know the Guinea Liberian politics. Look, let me tell you something simple. Nobody need your rocket scientist to figure out something that is important. That is this simple. When Sekou said he got a reservation that Joseph Boakai might not even be running for the presidency, I want to buy into that. Because you ask yourself a common sense question. We have an opposition leader here. We have a group of political parties that is into a marriage you call the CPP. The CPP is a brand. Let's just assume for hypothetical reason that somebody document was fraudulent or somebody made the signature issue. What would be the objective for destroying the CPP in the process if you are not in the tent for Joshua?
Yeah.
Why is so criminally intended or that was maliciously done that we got to be within the post? We are 1.5 years away from election. Why would be the offense that you lay another member of the CPP on the civil platter to a criminal cartel, because I don't call Georgia government or government, I call it a criminal cartel. They abuse the Constitution, they remove a Supreme Court justice, they have no regard for the law. The only people that will do that, you see, when you form a collaboration, it's in any organization for that matter, there will always be some internal wrangling. We all know that. Ben Nigeria is on video for saying that. It was the same Ben Nigeria that said that we don't have a justice system in Liberia, that he cannot trust the court. So how can you take your colleague into a system that you know that is not fair, that is rigged in favor of the government, and you're trying to dispense justice? So it only tells the common sense person that he's in it for the government. It's no rocket science. And I was people were trying to lay, but he left it partially. The thing is, Joseph Braga, first of all, health issue. He don't have the resources. Joseph Braga know that it was because Unity Party that we got George Weah. Look, you don't have to be a popular person to beat George Weah in an election. George Weah never wanted to meet a Cummins, never wanted to meet a Bronsky, never wanted to meet a Mill Jones. Because if you put George Weah and Cummins on the ballot, just both of them, election, when people say they want change, they want to change the status quo, they want something different. Not too many people with a functioning brain will see George Weah and Cummins on the ballot and choose George Weah over Cummins. But guess what? That's why I keep asking people, if you're saying that Joseph Braga is the strongest, that he poses the biggest risk to George Weah re-election bid, why would George Weah be focusing on eliminating Cummins or Joseph Braga?
Thank you. That's a good question.
Man, let me just leave it at that. I mean, so many things I could cover, but let me just give it off for now. I mean, that just it.
Thank you, sir.
Let me take this call, Steve. This person been here for a very long time. Caller, what is your name and where you calling from? 515.
Hey, Sekou, again, thank you. This is Japa Maxwell. I'm calling from the state of Iowa in Des Moines.
Go ahead.
So, firstly, let me thank you and Sekou and Telby, even though you haven't called me yet for your show. I hope you will do that soon. But, I followed the discussion yesterday and today again, and I am a little confused with the argument Telby is making. So, for me, I just want to ask maybe a few hypothetical questions.
Okay.
And I hope that Telby can give me some clarification, can provide some clarifications, to these hypothetical questions. One, you and I have been married. You walk out of the marriage, and for whatever reason, you feel disappointed, you feel disrespected for whatever reason. After you walk out of the marriage, tomorrow you come back and say, hey, I'm going to sue you because you cheated on me yesterday while we were in the marriage. That's number one. Number two, you and I as husband and wife, we have a joint account that benefits all of us, our children, how we repair the house, how we put food on the table. And so at the children's school, the school fees are supposed to be paid. The house is supposed to be repaired. There's supposed to be food on the table for all of us. So I go to the bank, hypothetically, I go to the bank and withdraw money, pay the children's school fees, repair the house, put food on the table, and then tomorrow you come and say, hey, now I'm making direct reference to your question you asked, and this is the same question we have asked over and over. How does this forgery or alteration, how does it benefit coming as opposed to the rest of the thing? So we pay all the children's school fees. Now today you walk out of the marriage and you say, hey, yesterday the money you used to pay the children's school fees and you pay LYC, you repair the house. How does this action of my wife or the husband benefit when you and I directly benefited from the fact that I took money? I'm speaking hypothetically. Now, here is Mr. Yuri. We keep asking a question. The other thing is that I want to bring to the attention of Ms. Telby. We are in a little small community organization. You are the first person for the community organization. You ask us, we grab a part of the Constitution. Who does the first draft of the Constitution go to? You are the chairman, you constituted the committee. So the first draft of that Constitution goes to you as chairman. That makes it original. Her argument yesterday was asking for amendment. The court is asking for original. So who does this original? Chairman of the committee of the organization that we are part of, you are the first chairman, you constitute a committee, the committee drafted the constitution and you send it to you before you send it out to the rest of the team of the community members to see it. Now, after it was approved, you come back again and say you want the original. Who should the original originate from?
Thank you.
From the federal president who took over from you as the federal president, or the, so it's Parker or you are they saying that there is no trace of anything either in a computer system, in his laptop, anywhere. Is that what they're telling that black people?
Thank you.
The document exists anywhere.
I want you to conclude, because right now all the questions you asked till now, and then when you continue talking, that she will get lost. She'll forget the question.
Yeah, so now address those questions in the layman term that that's proposed. That I'm seeking clarifications for.
All right. No problem. Thank you. So tell.
So let me start with the bank.
I have other questions, but what I want to do, I want you to just briefly answer that question.
Yeah, let me do it quick before I forget. So I got called too.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
So the issue with the bank, we're making comparison that
hypothetical.
Yeah, but it's still unrelated.
Yeah.
So the issue with the bank, and thank you for your questions. The issue with the bank, the joint bank account, when you can't join here with somebody, everything's equal. So if you're your wife join the account and you go there, whether knowingly or unknowingly, and use all the money, the bank not going to give you the money back because you're your wife, because you went behind your bank and used all the money. Unless your wife said, my husband didn't use the money, I didn't use this money, then they got to do an investigation. So it doesn't hold. You and your wife making flour, you spend all the money, or even in good terms, you spend all the money, you got equal rights to the account. Equal rights. So that's for that one. As far as the document, like I said, the Cummings lawyer, they can decide to ask the judge, what is your definition of original? Because if you're asking for the original copy or the final copy or the copy we submitted to NEC, that's what I'm assuming they're asking for, because the first copy was not submitted to NEC. What was submitted to NEC was the final with whatever, let's say quote unquote fake signature. So that is the copy they're asking for. But if they're asking for something totally different, then it is well within the lawyer's right, or it is any reasonable person to say, can you clarify to me, are you asking for the May 19th version, or you asking for the June 20th or June 18th version? I think that would help the direction of, where to go. And the first question about a woman cheating, or your woman says she wants you, then she came around and say, oh, you cheating? Because she says she doesn't want you, doesn't mean that you're not legally obligated to her until she can divorce you.
No, you say after the divorce, then she comes back later on, they say you cheated on me, the time we're married.
Well, when you divorce, you in the court, it will tell you you waive your right. You can't come back here to come.
So the question for the reason he asked that question was that the Benton USA they living the CPP. Why coming back now to say what happened the time when the Sunday?
Well, I think we're gonna talk about it today. What happened at the time they were together, so you can say the comparison not the same.
So the woman can stay sue for cheating the time they were together after the.
Well, and she waive her right. It depends on the state laws. When I went to my divorce court, they asked me, you waive your right to alimony? I say yes. They say that you cannot come back here years after and say you're gonna sue for alimony. I say yes. I waive my right. So that was it. I signed. I was done.
All right. Thank you.
So it just depends.
Yeah, so you will call out about. Let me take this caller. Hold on 1 second. Who is that? Is that Steve? Steve, hold on 1 second. Caller, what is your name and where you calling from? Caller 443. 1 minute, please. 1 minute, everybody. Let's just do 1 minute. We gotta go now. Hey, Mr. Maolo, how are you? Good.
That tells the lady on your show that she's very smart woman. When she's talking, you gotta listen to her thinking. Because her voice is so sweet, and people forget what she's saying. But listen, when she asks the question, what harm would they do to President Garfinley? President Garfinley, if he took the harm is that he lost the election, he lost a whole lot of money. And you're talking about suing the CPP. That's millions of dollars could say anything, But that being said, the whole thing in the beginning of the whole thing, if we're looking for any original document, which will presume the has to be the one from May 19th. The only person who has it is Brother Nigerian. Or every one of them have a copy in their computer. Because he was in Germany at the time. The thing was done on Zoom. Everybody signed on Zoom. How can they be asking for that original? And if they're asking for the last original that was done in June or July, that's the one the first thing is that NEC document couldn't be fraudulent because as you can see, when I has changed the story twice. First, he said somebody kicked him from there. The next time he talked about it, he said he was watching some TV show and he heard that, and then he called his secretary general to bring all the documents he had, and he called LP people to bring all the documents they have. So which document he was talking about didn't have any document. You see?
All right.
So Mr. Marlo still there?
Let me conclude.
As you said, it's a political case. It's not a legal case. So any legal, common sense will not work in this. It's a political case, and they want to do what they want to do. But I can guarantee them, if it's a political case, it will be political, and they should get ready for the consequences of making a judicial political case.
Thank you.
So one thing I need to address with Mr. Marlo, and I understand that.
You do that quickly, then you take your
Very
caller.
quickly. I understand he is an AFC supporter, so I understand the feelings and the sentiment. I don't talk and forget. Different questions call for different answers.
No, you forget what she said. She said, listen to you when you talk so sweet. He said, people not pay attention, people can forget about what they want to say. That's what he said.
No, but equally so though, when I said that what is the harm there, anybody can say somebody harmed me, but you have to prove the harm. And that's what I said. They'll have to prove that to the judge, and the judge will have to establish the harm.
Yeah.
So I just want to clarify that. But
yeah, hold on. You can take your call. Everybody, please hold the line. Go ahead quickly.
I think my other caller hang up. I will take the one that just come in.
So somebody said they sent me video. I don't like to click on video, to be honest. Especially people that I don't know, they can be sending fake video because they want to hack their account. So I don't click on video like that.
Let me call some people. You go ahead. I got to call them, but I think she got tired and hungry. I got
okay, that's fine. Yeah, I don't know this person number. The person that say put your number here, write your number. I got a lot of videos.
Coming. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
We have other callers.
Go ahead. Your name?
Nancy.
Go ahead.
We're not hearing the person though.
You can't hear?
You can hear me?
You can't hear?
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Sekou just made my day, and I was just thinking today. I was just thinking. When Costa first came up, and he said he left the CDC, right, to come back to the opposition. That was a red flag. And even more adding, with Downey coming to the opposition, and the CPP, all of them joining the CPP, it did a red flag right there. So when Sekou was talking today, it just took me back. I'm like, I hope these people never let CDC to come join the CPP, for they came on mission, because that's how it looked like. They came on a mission. And I just started thinking, going back when Sekou was talking, like Better Nigerian, Costa, Mo Ali, all of them joined the CPP, coming on board and stuff like that. It just made my day. And I'm just saying, clear now, they are working for peace. They're just on mission.
You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think every one of them took money. I think every one of them was paid to come on the mission, and they're really doing it good, So I would say for people, you're opening your eyes for you to see properly. Let's move our country forward. We can't stay in America. And I all have to say thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day. Yeah, go ahead. I'll have to call two people back. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So Steve, you get somebody there because I got 3 calls here. You have a caller? Okay, still don't have a caller. So this person here, the last 4 digit is 0297. Are you there? Okay, lost the person. Let's go to the other line here.
I got one.
I think I have Yaseni here. Yaseni, are you there?
I'm here. Let me walk outside because I'm in the noisy place.
Yeah, sorry for the long hold. Go ahead quickly.
That's okay. I wanted to ask a few questions. Okay. In the other world where you have people to investigate, there's something that they call character witness. So they will look at the character of the person has lived in the community, who they are, what they bring to the table, what their work is. And then based on that, the person that's bringing the accusation will also investigate the background of that person. My question would be to the court or the judiciary in Liberia. Based on what they charge this man, and they're asking him to bring things. You know, I hear people say that the Watergate issue. The Watergate issue, people were cut from Karate. The Democratic Party headquarters, which was the Watergate Hotel that was turned around. And then Nixon was a president of the United States. And everything in the White House belongs to the people of America. So Nixon never said that he didn't have the document. Nixon claimed executive leverage. Okay? And the people override it because everything that is in the White House is recorded, and it belongs, when you go to the White House, it belongs to the people. Anything we do there, that's their record. Now, I need people to look at and critical character and then compare that to Mr. Cummings. But before you say they did something, where is the evidence that they claim that they have? Because all of us know there was no original document. The original document would have been the one that people approved. Because the initial one, when they signed it, we rejected it because it was very prejudiced. It was very discriminatory towards the people when they were coming to power to divide jobs. All of us, in fact, you all had a show on it. You all had a people show on it that maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people were watching and calling in with overloaded. Even we are 150. So the people rejected it. That was the essence of which they sent that document, which that particular document was being led by the that was sent to the lawyers to put it in perspective, legal terms, and do it to fit what the people wanted. Because in my young Uganda boy, there was the will of the people that they came together because there were too many political parties. In Mr. Cummings' words, there was the will of the people. In Benin, that new boy, the people told us to come. So anybody who leave the CPP, the people will shame them. The people will go against them. Those are words said. In Waka voice, it was the will of the people. So it was the same will of people that forced them to send that document to the lawyer to make it fit what the people wanted. So that particular document is the one I went to the NEC. NEC does not say duplicate documents. Generally, immigration does not take negative couple of documents. So the original document will be at the NEC, except for where everybody stands on the separate level. So what document are they asking for? They said Mr. Cummings should produce. My problem is, so why you can't produce it? What that means? So according to that, we forfeit the Constitution, or now we take the laws that we go. So I want somebody to answer the question. Based on what did they charge this man? If they don't have, what do they compare? What do they know that we don't know that they think they should bring? So what I think is a trap. If you say, this is my own document that I signed the Zoom, somebody else will come and say, no, that's not the document we send you through the email. Somebody else will come and say, because the vote for have changed so many times. So say, all of your tell us, based on what? Because fraudulent case, most fraudulent case will not go to a judge. They go to a jury, a grand jury. And the grand jury will determine if there's enough evidence before they can charge. They don't just take it to court and charge you. That when they do in the civil life or where the law works.
All right, thank you.
Because tomorrow myself, one second, and then it says the people, I can get up and say the people of Liberia say you stole $25 million. You allegedly stole this. So we want you to bring the document so we can prosecute you. Because those are what they think you. They put me on.
That's exactly what they're doing. Thank you. So the person sent a video here that Ben said something because the Zoom video is here. So they want me to play it so we all can hear what this information is all about. I don't know what it is. Just for 1 second, let's play it. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Somebody was talking.
Because politics in Liberia is a difficult thing.
People stop calling me. let me play this video, please.
And let it go and keep our goal ahead of you and know that you have a goal that you must accomplish. I close this brief statement again by appealing to all Liberians. The press, the naysayers, those that congratulated us when we're doing good, those that abused us when we're doing wrong, we want everybody on board. We find ourselves in a precarious situation in our country. And our generation, and I speak to the political leaders, our generation must fix what we have spoiled.
All right.
And now,
let me see.
Mr. Cummings, you will have to put on elephant skin. Because politics in Liberia is a difficult thing. They will abuse you, they will attack you. It might even come from me. But keep that elephant skin strong and let it go. And keep our goal ahead of you.
All right. So Benny Nigeria was telling Cummings when Cummings were taking over, that politics in Liberia is a difficult thing. They might accuse you, they may attack you. It might even come from me, but let it go. I think that's what is in the message. So Telco, before I take another call, go ahead with your caller, please. Because I think we're about to leave now.
Caller, what's your name and where you come from?
Good evening. Thank you, Tevi. My name is Joseph Conto, and I'm calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hi, Joseph.
Hey, Steve, I'm protesting right now. I'm going to start walking from Charlotte straight to Arizona. Hey, I just want to make two clarifications here. The day of the ruling by the circuit court judge, the lead defense lawyer for Mr. Cummings, when he came out, he made clarification about the document being requested by the court. He said the document that they have at net, the court already have it. The court is not requesting that. Instead, the court is requesting for the original document that was signed on May 19, 2020. Even though they have that document, but the problem there is that the court is requesting a single signature page with the May 19, 2020 document that was signed. That's what the problem is, because that signature page have never existed. They never had the time to get one, because the document was signed on May 19, 2020 and went straight to the lawyer on May 20, 2020. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Thank you. I got two. Go ahead. I got two. I had another one waiting. Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, we'll be winding down the next 5 minutes here, please.
Oh, that's even too much. That'll be the last caller. In fact, I have one more caller here.
Yes.
Sorry,
Why? The caller on the other line. So.
Okay. So I should take the caller here?
Yeah, he's on one of the other lines.
All right. Caller 602 number. Last 4 digits 0297. How come when I tell you caller to tell you the telephone and go off? So Telco, I think I lost the caller. Steve.
Yes. So we'll call it a day for today.
You know something the last caller just said, Joseph Conto. So that the document they're looking for is the same document that everybody get.
That one.
But they say the page that they're looking for
Mm-hmm.
was the signature page. And according to NEC can only take original.
Mm-hmm.
So that when they sign the document, on May 19,
Mm-hmm.
they submitted the original copy of the document of that signature page. So commies maybe may have a copy, but how will you ask for something that is with NEC and they say they have it? So what are they asking for?
Well, Mr. Cannon, first of all, per public knowledge, what we know, that original signature page does not even exist because all of them sign it from different locations. As evidenced by that, that's why they sent Mo Ali to go and collect signatures.
Yeah.
So you see, so either ways you do it, even on any document, Mr. Cannon. Not every party can sign on the same day. Let's take, for example, I submitted some kind of document in a few days. I had to go notarize it. Guess what happened? You remember I told you I had to go notarize it to the bank or to the hospital. I said, I got to go notarize the document. I have an appointment. You said what time? I told you the time. When I went to the bank, guess what happened? Wherever I submitted that document, I notarized it and submitted it. The people who are going to be signing under there are a couple of signatures that will sign under there. Guess what? They will not sign the same day as me.
So do we know whether Mo Ali collected signatures?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Mo Ali said that.
He did.
Mo Ali said that.
I want to understand though, just for my own clarity. So if he did, when he collected the final signature or whatever, or he completed with his task, who did he turn it over to?
He turned it over, I think, to the ANC. The ANC, and that's what they used to attach on to put on the document.
So he turned it over to Mr. Cummins.
Yes, as part of the plan. That's what should have been done.
So he
the Secretary General.
That task, he turned it over to Mr. Cummins.
To the Secretary General.
The Secretary of Mr. Cummins. Which
the Secretary of ANC.
Oh, he said it was Alasha's store.
Yes.
So somehow is in the possession of ANC then? The signature page.
Yeah, but it's on the document that was filed.
No, but when that piece of paper that had all the full signature after that task was completed, it was turned over to Alicia's store. So somehow it's in the possession of the party.
Yeah, but they said they submitted the original document to NEC.
Yes,
so
that's what they used to submit the documents.
So they took the original once they got it.
Yes,
they attached it to the document
and send it to NEC.
So they don't even have a copy because
exactly
they shouldn't have a copy because NEC doesn't take photocopy.
Does not have a copy of that for their own records.
I don't know that. I cannot answer you.
They should. I think they should have that.
They should. Everybody.
They should have that, and I also believe everybody else also should have that. More at least you have that as well.
No, but
yes,
sometimes they wouldn't want to take. The party wouldn't want to take from more. I'm just asking because if they turn it to you, Sekou, for your own records and for your own protection, you have a copy of your own, right? Because you want to send original to.
Okay, let's do the last caller.
So that's what
I think this is Dr. Kumara. Hello.
Yes.
Dr. Kumara.
Allowed to talk now?
Yeah, you're allowed to talk. How are you?
Good, thank you, Sekou. First of all, I didn't have the chance yesterday to be on the show live, but I watched the after action review of the show. And I wanted to warn Steve very much to be careful, Taylor.
Be careful, take it. That's why you're talking for me.
Make sure you stop arguing with them, man. Steve.
Yeah.
Hold on, Ishmael. Hold on, Ishmael. 1 second. I can't miss this call. Just 1 second, please. Please, hold on. But let me take this thing from speaker first. Hello?
Well, but tomorrow we'll dive a little, right after Ishmael here, we'll dive a little into the bicentennial and some of the things that are going on. We'll dive into it.
Yeah, I had to take that call. I couldn't miss that call. Ishmael. Yeah, Ishmael?
Yes, sir.
I apologize. Go ahead, sir.
No, I completely understood. So I also why it's true that I want to caution Steve against arguing with Tev. I want to agree with Steve on the merits of the definition of what is considered original. And so, to me, if the government aren't careful with this whole coming situation, it's becoming a fiasco. and they might render themselves into some deep trouble. It seems to me what is being said and the accusation that has been leveled against the government, they are proving it to be true every day, that what they're trying to do is to really eject coming from this race. And it actually answers the question that you're asking today, who is the major opposition? If the government is spending money and time and energy on Cummings, it seems to me then that they already see him as a major opposition leader in the Liberian political arena. So I just wanted to throw that in there for the benefit of the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, I was warned and cautioned by a lot of suitors for tell, but none of them have paid a direct yet, so I will not listen to them.
Well, okay. I think, folks.
They actually showed me about Penny lecture for
so hold on, Tal. Before I got something very important to say, but before I say it, who is the Valentine?
Your mommy said to watch out your head on today.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Because nobody ever paid down to me. Nobody ever do anything.
Yeah, and I'm here for nobody.
So I don't know.
I think that Steve now. Steve said, you know what? We're not bringing a private matter to public space.
So you feel the fear on that. Okay, folks. Let me go back to something that Kumara just talked about, folks. You know, the issue of who is the leading opposition political leader in Liberia. After what we have seen, after everything's going on right now, after all the arrows being directed at Cummings, it means that the government of Liberia sees Cummings as the only threat to them, and that's why they want to make sure they eliminate him from the political space, not eliminating him, killing him, but at least to make sure that he will not participate. And the government of Liberia, Benina Ure and their enablers, they have said it very clearly that we will not allow him to run. We will protest. I think this thing should have been about this person is not qualified. I can do a better job than this person. This person, my platform is better than this person's platform. I have a better idea. I have a better policy. I got a better answer for the Liberian people problem. I think that should be the statement. But to say we will not allow him to run, it means that you are afraid that if he runs, he can win. If the government of Liberia is stopping Cummings from running, and that's why they're doing all these delay tactics, evidenced by what the Solicitor General said yesterday, I've already convicted Cummings and also assigned his punishment and telling him that you only have two options. That is either or. That he have done it before. He said he went to a particular case wherein he directed the judge what should be the sentence of that individual, and that's exactly what happened. And now he's telling Cummings that should happen. And we know Liberia that we're talking about here, decisions are made by the executive, talking about the president. And this Solicitor General having a parallel ministry, because the justice minister say they may run his own ministry, he runs the other justice ministry. So knowing that this man working for the president by the directive of the president and Nathaniel McGill, it means the man is already guilty before the process. It means what they want to do is to get rid of him, to make sure that he will not run, to stop him from running. And if the international community is watching, I'm not talking about watching SKTV, but watching over Liberia, knowing what's going on, they are represented by a lot of different people in the country, United States by the ambassador, European Union, and other major decision maker in the world, if they are watching, and knowing that this man is being witch hunted, and the only crime committed is the ambition to run for president, if that is the only crime committed, and he's found guilty and stop or do anything to derail his progress of running for president, definitely the world will react. Liberian people will react, and the world will react to it. Trust me. That's what I have to say. And you people can call, make the final word, and then we call it a day.
Tomorrow we'll be on for our announcement. I know, Mr. Connor, you say you're routing for the Bengals.
Who?
You.
No, I didn't say that. Maybe you.
Okay, so who's routing for now?
Maybe that's what you want me to do, but now I'm rooting for Iran. That's why I'm going to win.
Last night we were.
No. This is the West Coast team, my man. You don't.
Okay.
Like
so that means
and guess what? The watch party already programmed.
So you change your mind?
Now, my man, talk about the watch party. Everybody meet. They are tied everything for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but why are you announcing in the
public? No, I'm announcing it. Anybody can come. Not to my house. I will tell you the place. Everybody gonna go.
Yeah, but a strategic location, you can't announce it.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna announce that one. Just say the watch party. We're gonna go and eat meat and drink hatay and drink water and drink Vito.
And drink our tea.
There will be no Hennessy.
No Hennessy.
There will be no Hennessy and beer,
Liquor-free environment.
There will be no Kinju anyway. Because Hennessy and other beer and other people, I got a lot of my friends that can drink anyway. I'm talking about my friends then that can drink. But I got other friends who only drink hatay and Vito and water.
Oh, so he's facing now.
Yeah.
So he's facing now.
Yeah. So if you can drink other wine, you're not invited because you will not see it.
I can't believe that.
You will not see it.
Okay.
So you will see that. Anything will see the one kind you can come. Water, Vito and soda. And hatay.
What's your last comment before we close here today?
I mean, nothing. I think tomorrow when we talk about bad Centennial, I want us to highlight this police officer, this case of this police officer that alleged rape, and they found him not guilty. There's some video of the sister of the victim, crying, literally crying and stuff. And obviously this man with his tongue was bitten off. I think.
Okay.
Amongst other things. Yeah.
We'll bring all of those into context tomorrow as we speak, and we'll talk also more about Lena Greenfield and why she's not there, and the U.S. representative, the team that will be constituted, so that we can go into deeper. Why is it important for the relationship with Liberia, and amidst this whole sanction that's coming up very soon? Why is it strategic? People are not going to Liberia for it. So all of these things will be covered tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow. You never know. We could have some development from this CPP freeway document noise, and we'll still talk about it again. But yeah, thank you for sticking with
the matter of fact, Steve, talking about new development.
Oh God.
Remember when Dr. Kumara was speaking, I received a call. I said, I can't miss this call.
Yeah.
That call is very important. Maybe there will be something in it that we will know about. That one a big call, not small call.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Maybe the chill amount will behave
because some people are watching, and some people calling and people want to talk something. So
that's a big problem tomorrow in Liberia. So obviously,
I don't know, but they want about a political call. They're not about a political call.
Yeah, but
they want a political call.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
So we'll get a gist, and we'll talk about it if necessary.
Yeah. Mr. Kennedy, you can return to your cocktail. I can call you when that particular, I will find out. Have a good day.
I'll ask the question and the question will not answer. You understand? I'll ask the question again.
Yeah.
The other situation, yeah, you handle it.
You know we'll be vetted at the honor course edition. You know, you will fall down inside, fella.
Let me go in, Martin Serbia. I see you.
Have a good day.
beats.